1, 2, 3, Rain, talk to me. We're gonna hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody don't know what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it stop.
Rain?
It's
Why?
time to stop.
Why did you?
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Floods of like memes, and these small gangers are like, we're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Dell, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super died in Dell. So it's like, when
What
I'm
are
talking
we
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why does
look.
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delph?
up! Shut up!
Christ!
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is Trash Talk
It's an
Tuesday.
I was
analogy.
like,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Trash Talk Tuesday. It is I, Redline13. I'm joined with my friends Ima, Grigorin, Riker, Loki, Shanna, and Villy. We've got kind of a small show today, so I'm going to adjust these portraits because, we've only got a few people on, and that's fine with me. Should be nice and easy. We got some stuff to talk about. Why don't you guys go ahead and just say hello? Everybody say hello, and we'll do that.
oh.
Hello.
All right, cool. Well, looks like everything's working okay. So I just want to say, Manic, your mug is on the way, bro. It's very cool mug. Loki, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up the mug stuff. I know that's just a touchy subject for you.
Point of contention. I'm still not happy.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's the thing. So tonight we've got some kind of interesting topics to talk about. They just released the information about the CSM, which is upcoming. The election is coming up this spring, in June. As June is when they're announcing the winners. So you're gonna see a lot of posts about CSM on Reddit and the normal places, and just remember that you got to vote for somebody. Might as well be somebody good, right? We're also going to talk about some other kind of like, I guess, war stuff is going to be on the agenda for the evening, because we've got like 3 keep stars left before it's time to do 1DQ and that constellation. That's going to be super fun. I also want to talk about some of the shenanigans with these changes that are happening to the game that kind of just happen out of the blue and completely fuck things up and then have to be fixed, and just wonder why they even bother. But anyway, for Blazing Bunny, I've put a crab on the screen. It's dancing across the screen. I hope you enjoy that. And so yeah, let's get started. Where do you guys want to start tonight?
No preference.
No preference. Okay. Well, I mean, we can start by talking about CSM. I heard Jeremy, are you gonna run for CSM? Is that a thing you're doing?
Yeah, sure, why not at this point, honestly.
So guys,
At this
make sure
point.
that you vote for anybody but Jeremy if he actually does run for CSM.
I mean, don't worry.
If I do run for CSM, my platform is going to be a lot of kind of what just null blocks want in terms of ending the scarcity period. I definitely want more customization for like player-owned structures. So keep star skins, structure skins, the ability to edit how your structure looks is a big thing I want, because I think with the change to Citadel mechanic to Citadel from passes, it lost a lot of the personalizability. If that's a word that the old passes had that I've seen. So I really want to bring back having your space and having it being your own. I also want to change slightly some of the mechanics. So NPC SOTOs are just anoms in systems instead of you having to combat scan the NPCs down and all that. It's just a normal normal a site you would see normally, I would like to change how ratting mechanics work to make it more AFKable, because I'm for a very much less grindy Eve. So I prefer that NPCs target your ship before your drones just by default now, and there's no having to
I
run
hate
around.
you so much. Every
What?
everything about you, I just can't. I can't with you, dude. Look.
Can we
See,
get skins? I want to have a Keepstar covered in anime.
Obviously, like the
That would be that.
would it be called a Weeb Star at that point?
obviously not like War Thunder or anything like that, right? But I just mean like just a greater degree of customizability over the space that you have. Making it feel like it's your own is something I really like in Eve, and I want to see more of.
So what
That'll
if
be-
like I anchor a Keepstar and then I make it turn into a giant Pikachu? Is that something that you'd be
Well-
into going for?
Well, I mean, what I really want to see is maybe there's like Keepstar like variations in the model, and you can change like maybe there's one where like the dot like where supers and undock stuff like that are changed, or you can set where you want supers to undock from. Like maybe you just want it like the supers to undock from the like a wing or something like that instead of up top, and that's something you can change. There's just certain stuff like that,
Customizable like undock locations.
Yeah, customize it. And what I would also like to see is like how ships have gun turrets on them. The Keepstars have turrets on them as well, and you can see like the different modules and stuff like that, and they're very big, noticeable. I don't want to use the word bulges, but I guess I will on the Keepstar grid, and you can change kind of how those look and where those are located and whatever. And you can change how many subcap and subcapital undock ports there are, so you can slide up. I don't know if you have ever looked at the Keepstar undock. There's little columns that look like they should slide up and down. I would like to be able to see that you like have them like slide up, so there's like maybe only one subcap undock or something like that. I'd also like to see the ability to kind of have them all slide down, and I'd also like the where it says vulnerable on the structures right now when they're not being attacked. If it's not being attacked, to happen to be green or something like that, and have little messages displayed, like little Corporate Alliance messages.
What about like anchorable like anomalies? So let's say like you put an upgrade into your fort, is that right? So you have the anomalies literally on the on dock, so you can on dock and start crapping, right? Isn't that amazing?
No.
Right? Like wouldn't that be amazing?
That
What I-
would be the tits.
What I would like to
Hell
see,
yeah.
what I would like to see also is like iHub upgrades or some kind of structure you can place to kind of act as like fans for these storms. So especially when they get stuck in one place, you can kind of direct where the storm is going next, so it doesn't just keep ping-ponging around.
Well, I think that's just poor coding at the end of the day. I don't
Oh
think
yeah.
I don't think that that's a feature of the storms. It's like, oh, they stay in this pocket forever. You're forever gonna have the storm.
Are we gonna get to talk about that? Because
The storm?
It's really
the
annoying.
storms are so coded so poorly. The no cloaking storm was stuck in the Helm's Deep area for a month and a half. And then it came back, and the other one showed up too. There are 2 no cloaking storms in Delve again.
When we were
And it's been like
farming,
that for 4 months.
when we
I
were
mean, wasn't
farming,
that good for you guys?
Not anymore. Well,
When we-
okay, it was good in the 1DQ pocket. That was fine.
Let's be honest here. It's been a massive advantage for you guys to have that cloaking storm in the 1DQ area for the last like 3 weeks.
It's been
But
a
that
help.
doesn't change the fact that it's absolutely fucking broken.
I got to
Yeah.
no, except for the fact that one guy does the bug where he like just keeps like trying to cloak until it lets him, and then he sits there for 12 hours and then he just like laughs in local about how he can sit cloaked around and there's nothing you can do about it.
do you guys remember?
I didn't know they were.
Oh
You guys-
yeah, it's been bugged for ever since they came out, and CCP has been reported and told, and they refuse to try and fix it.
Do you guys remember like when the storms were first going to be introduced? Right, the war was obviously going, and everybody was mad, and everyone's like, "If this affects the war, I swear to God, CCP." And like they did it anyway, and now like this many months later, it's like, yeah, no, like nobody can cloak anymore. LOL.
Yeah.
It got real interesting trying to figure out how to get out of 1DQ to like go roam around Delve other places, because you're like, oh, okay, that way is blocked, I'll just go this way. And I can just cloak warp. And you can't cloak or warp for like 4 systems in a row. Oh, God.
We'll have anchorable mines again.
That sounds like a great idea.
Like, no, with those storms though, honestly, like we were trying to farm fed up works at a certain period of time when they were plentiful in a particular like constellation, and literally like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fleets of minus 90% rep power or whatever the fuck that one is, and I'm just like, holy fuck, dude, so bad.
Like anchorable mines, you could just put a minefield on a gate and.
And what?
Well, you see, like so Dawn actually thought you meant like mining, like mine, probably.
Anytime I hear the word mine, like I got to mine last week because of the storm until that one guy like broke the bug. I was pretty excited. Except for like I can't subcat mine anymore. It just makes me cry.
I think the minefield idea is like really hilarious, especially if like there's no way for the enemy to see the mines. You'd have to use a spy to like print out like an overview copy of like where everything is, and then like screenshot everything on multiple angles to like try to figure out where everything is so that you can like attack a structure.
Yeah, that does not sound like a fun.
So instead of like EVE Online, we'd literally be playing like
Minesweeper.
Minesweeper, exactly.
Or a specialized special module that you put on a ship for clearing mines.
The service here for like miners could do that.
It sounds like such a pain in the ass, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
oh, you mean like? I'm sorry. I just
an
realized
explosive
that
ordnance in space.
You mean an explosive like a landmine?
Gregorian, yeah.
No,
Gregorian wants to turn.
No,
Gregorian
I mean,
wants to turn EVE into space Minesweeper, basically.
Sorry, I got my second COVID shot today, and then I came home and I've been asleep since noon or like 2. It's been quite the day. So speaking of that, I don't know if you guys are aware, before we, jump into CSM and all that other stuff, did you guys have you guys ever used Microsoft SharePoint at all? Like in your history, in your personal lives?
You're enchanted with this.
It's the vaccine juice. It's the vaccine juice.
So
He's
look,
like,
let me just
you know
tell
how
that,
easy this makes his life.
look,
Did
like,
you just say vaccine juice?
Yes.
Like you don't understand. So first off, Microsoft SharePoint is an efficiency software. Okay, it allows you to do so many things. You can plan your entire day with Microsoft SharePoint. You can do like a family calendar, all this kind of shit. It's great, and it comes free with your Office 365 subscription. Personally, I don't know how I ever lived without it. Like I bought 3 licenses, for one for my computer, one for my laptop, and one for my cell phone. So that's
Because you would never want to share licenses because that's against the rules, right?
Well, right, exactly. Why would you want to share licenses? I mean, come on. Anyways, so CSM. So there's been a lot of posts about people running for CSM, and a lot of people, saying like, this is what I'll change. God, that was loud. Holy fuck, the follow sound is so loud. Anyways, talking about what they would change. And as a person who is on the CSM, Villy, can you just give us some insight as to, what it actually means to be a CSM candidate, and what people should expect from the people that they vote for?
Oh boy. Basically, you are going in to be a CSM candidate, and your goal is to provide CCP with feedback on the ideas that they're implementing. And occasionally, if you know how to work the system effectively enough, you can kind of try and push your ideas and your agenda a little bit. But for the most part, the CSM is an endeavor in patience and trying to help CCP make a better game. It's not a situation where you are going to go out there and be able to, I don't want to say you can't change the world, but I think it's very how would I say this? It's very unlikely that you will be able to do anything remotely close to that.
So
CSMs will not
anybody,
change the world. Brought to you by Billy.
And I say that with the understanding that like you can get things done. Don't get me wrong. Like you can make balance changes, or you can I shouldn't say you can make them. You can propose them, and CCP can sometimes listen. But there's a pretty wild level of expectation that you need to have, or a pretty you need to be ready to sit there for 1 or 2 hours every week in a meeting and never achieve a thing to a degree. Occasionally provide some good feedback. That's really the most important thing you're going to do at times.
So I don't think that this side of like the realistic approach to what the CSM is actually able to accomplish or therefore is really going to be provided on any other show. To be fair, every other show it's like the CSM, your every vote counts. Like let's change Eve and everyone's great and CCP listens to all your ideas and life is great. And it's like no, that's
What
really
show are you watching?
really not how. Well, I was watching TIS today and they were talking about how every vote mattered and blah 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 blah. But nobody really talks about the ability of the CSM to actually affect change in a meaningful way. And if you put that out uh on a spreadsheet, how much change would you affect in like a month or a 6-month period or a quarter or, a year? Like probably not that much, which is fine, right? Um, game developers are
So
there to
it's
develop the game.
dynamic, right? So like you can look at like both myself and Olmeca achieved a ton in our first term, but what we achieved was also much more along what CCP was already doing, right? I was pushing big for cap changes. Olmeca was pushing for nerfs to the way a lot of things worked. Like it was very clear at the time that there was a drive with the CCP to make changes, and I think both of us, and including Gobbins and later on Execute, all were able to affect change or help drive the direction a little bit to the point that good changes were made, and we could feel proud with them, etc. Right? We weren't the ones pushing the agenda, but I should say that maybe we planned, like the movie Inception, where like maybe you can plant the idea, like, and you get them started, and then maybe you can help them refine the edges, but everything in the middle, you got no ability to really
That
that's not you, right? Like you can give them the idea, and then you can refine the edges, and that's about it.
that movie must be actually incredibly insightful because they literally talk about the bare bones necessity for making somebody think that it was their inspiration to begin with, which yeah. But I mean, to be fair, if you owned a gaming company, would you just let a bunch of random nerds like make massive changes to your game willy-nilly? Probably not. So I mean, there's obviously a balance there, right?
I mean,
I'm not.
if they were elected by the entire rest of the game to be a group that provides that feedback, like yes, I would probably listen to them at least a little bit more than it seems CCP listens to most
I
people in
agree.
the CSM.
Sure, but they're not really elected by the rest of the game, right? Like they're elected by a segment of the game, and then the more the votes get
Right.
diluted,
How
the
could I
more
forget?
like right. So I mean, because it's it's a democracy.
Yeah,
So
they're only
I mean,
elected by the most active and committed players in the EVE Online community. Fuck those guys.
Or by somebody who just has 500 alts so they can
well,
buy
no,
votes.
but I mean, let's be realistic though. There will be a goon candidate. There will probably be I mean, there's going to be multiple Pappy candidates. I don't know how you guys are voting. It's probably still alliance by alliance, but it's still going to be coalition by coalition. So you're probably going to have a Pan Fam candidate. You're probably going to have a Goon Swarm candidate on there, just because by numerical like advantage, they're just going to have it, right? Um, Phantomite might be able to make it again, or another LoSec candidate might be able to make it again, but that's actually a question mark, and it depends a lot on what the larger groups are thinking and how they're voting and how many of them are doing that and all kinds of other things. So it's not like some perfect example of how democracy helps us in these cases. In my opinion, it is literally you have tyrannical governments essentially in EVE Online, tyrannical you know governments that are essentially dictating, well, this is how we're doing things, and you have that en masse, and then whoever, the real democracy happens, I guess, for the people who aren't in those groups, and then they're able to make like actual choices as to who they want to vote for, and then like we see how it shakes out at the end, right?
So isn't the majority of EVE's player base like out of nullsec though? Like if they all actually like banded together and voted in the CSM elections, then they could like outweigh the null block votes. Am I
If
I
who
don't
if who if who
actually
banded
think
together,
so.
if who banded together, like all of high sec, the wormhole dudes, and low sec.
The
Everybody
one corp in
else.
high sec that's larger than everybody else.
Oh, you're talking about Signal Cartel.
That's just all AFKs and alpha ults and all
Yeah,
that.
they choose not to purge. This is a thing, right? Like we know that CCP brings in X amount of new bros per year, right? And it's quite a bit. It's quite a few of them. If you're not purging any of your members, then you get like what happened to Brave the first time, where you have an inflated idea of what you're able to accomplish, and not actually like the actual like meat behind the bones. Kind of the people who are actually still logging in. You have no idea like who those players are because you haven't purged any of the people who stopped playing, right? They're just in your alliance. Congratulations. I don't know. Like, I have no connection at all to Signal Cartel at all. I suppose if high sec and low sec decided that it was time for a change, I think they could probably do something for sure. And maybe that's already what happened in Phantomite. I don't actually know. Sorry, Rendell, go ahead.
Yeah, silent company is what you're talking about. And isn't it only the top three from like, I guess if they all banded together and they somehow managed to properly coordinate for all 10 votes, then they could maybe try to do something. But like, really, how would they really do, like, to say, all right, here's how we're going to vote, and they just said 1, 2, and 3? Then there's really only 3 votes. They would have to do a whole lot of managing to manage 4 and 5 and 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Silent Company? It's not Signal. Okay, my bad. I fucked that up.
It's quite different.
Numbers will run out of. They won't have enough numbers. So yeah, maybe they could band together and do top 3 or top 4. But
I mean, all they gotta do is really get one candidate on that actually gives a shit about what they think about. Because all I know is that in every CSM campaigning period that I have ever seen, there are equally as many shit posts about how nobody from HiSec or nobody from X group ever gets on the CSM, and it's just because they don't band together and fucking vote for him.
Well, they're massively self-interested, right? Like everybody else.
Well,
So
everybody is massively
right.
self-interested.
Right, but now if you look at it, so that's the thing. So if you look at it from, okay, well, what's better for the game? What would probably be better for the game is that you'd have a high sec and a low sec that band together, and they say, hey, CCP, we used to be the starting points for how things used to be done, right? We're not currently, because Pandemic Horde and Brave and other groups like that are null sec entities like to take us and take New Bros and move them down there, which is fine. Like I'm not going to criticize that or anything, but it negates a lot of kind of validity for low sec in particular. Low sec used to be a stepping stone, right? Now it's skipped over entirely, and you have these null sec groups. So if they got together and said, look, this is probably better for the game to make to have representation, and then to make this kind of a stepping stone basis thing again, like it used to be, that could be interesting, right? And then you'd have like change that maybe actually like kept new bros engaged. To a degree. I mean, it's obviously not a perfect solution, but that could be interesting. At the same time, it's like everyone's so fucking self-interested with, what their alliance is doing in their sec and their, their particular little cut of space, that, I mean, not a lot of change like that is probably likely to happen unless somebody forces it to.
Will there be a wormhole or on the CSM, or did Hard Knocks ruin for them again?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, and that's what I was talking to Phantomite about on Riker's show on like Sunday. It was like, I feel like the wormhole candidate doesn't. There's a lot of hitting and missing, and a lot of times you're literally just electing a wormhole candidate because there hasn't been a wormhole candidate in quite a while. Which, I mean, obviously, probably, again, is one of those things where it probably needs to change, because like it's good to have representation in front of CCP for all security spaces, in my opinion. And like I consider wormhole space, obviously it's like a lack of security, but whatever. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know,
It's
man.
an entirely different space.
Last time there was a wormhole rep on the CSM, the wormholders got dicked around a little bit. I don't know if they
That is
really
true.
want one.
I mean,
Maybe that's their thing now. They just don't want the representations because they can just continue to be mysterious crabs.
like, don't bring any of the exploits up to CCP as
That
far
would-
as like
Did you-
how
did
good
you
the
hear
space
them
is.
crying today?
That would
no.
explain what Hard Knocks has been doing for this election and the last year.
Let's remember what happened last year, right? You had Lauro literally sitting on the bubble, right? It's there's always a desire for wormhole candidates. It's just, can the wormholers unite effectively enough behind somebody who's got enough charisma to do something?
They want something done. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening in wormholes, and if you're to change one thing, you really should change the rest and change the stupid amounts of infinite income that subcaps can get in there.
I mean, subcaps can get pretty much infinite income anywhere at
Yeah,
this
but
point.
you know, $3 billion an hour with two
Yeah.
dudes.
Like infinite and ridiculous. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. There's always infinite havens and all that stuff, but you're making what, like 10 mil an hour, 15 or no, sorry, 30 to 45 mil an hour, right? With a single Gila or Ishtar or something like that.
Yeah, but see, it's all about scaling up. You gotta scale up where you have like 10 accounts running Ishtars and Gilas.
How much did Vale make? Well, like 3.3 trill at 10% tax, dude. The Alliance has made 330 mil.
Dude,
That's
I
just
don't
stupid.
even want to look at that.
Frat is really good at crabbing.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Really
You're really
good
good at
crabbing.
writing code.
Come on, Don. We can't
Nah,
go
bro.
that. We can't go that
Listen,
route.
I defended them today because I was defending wormholers because
Why?
someone was.
Wormholer's a little baby.
I know. It's more of like the principle of the matter that someone was offended that they made these roach fleets, as they call them, where like 10 to 15 people get together and do these things. Now, it could be alts, it could be actual people, but they're organized. They take like 10 to 15 Leshaks and Esters into a wormhole, secure it, run the sites, and then go to the next wormhole, run the sites, and keep going. And then they'll use MJDs and filaments to get out of Dodge if a baddie shows up. Well, these wormholers were crying about how it's too much risk and it's too safe and they can't ever catch anybody. And the most that anybody ever gets pointed is one person pointed by the rats and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? I don't know anything about wormholes, but I'm tired of seeing PvP elites try to snuff out every bit of fun content in this goddamn fucking game that requires more than one person to actually do it. What do we got left? We got incursions that are like fun. I actually would love more incursions because they're fun. I enjoy it. It's a group activity. But you know, you got abyssals, which is solo or maybe with one or two people, but it's usually you and your alts. So I was like, nah, leave the wormholes alone. Let them have their fun. They're not bothering me at all. Like, stop trying to destroy gameplay that requires coordination. That's actually profitable.
Nah, homie.
That's one thing that nullsec sites should have, is they have points and all that stuff in random E-War, but they really just need to add scrams, right? Whenever you're on a grid with a drifter and it can just scram you out wherever you are on grid and shit out 1600 DPS on you, that's fun, you know? You can't just go in a Garmer and point an AFK Ishtar and just AFK there, you know, orbiting him at 30. You actually have to try shit, you actually have to do shit, and you can't just be in a frig cancer. Wormhole PvP is way better.
I know the small gangers like, hey, free cancer is good for the game, okay? It's real PvP.
Listen, if I can't kill that guy with 2 people, it's clearly broken.
What do you mean? You need at least 20 people to kill every guy.
No. You need to be able to do in 5 or less.
Why?
Or else
Actually,
it's
I'm just waiting
robbing.
for the day when wormholes are gonna like ask for target painters to be nerfed or something like that. Because that's a logical conclusion to all this eventually.
I mean, they're
It's like a
asking for the
target painter
sites and
nerf.
wormholes to be harder so that way the guys doing
Yeah.
C6s can still have their monopoly.
Yeah, I wish CCP stopped nerfing wormholes because they've lost a lot of what there used to be to do, and now there isn't as much to do besides crab in there.
I mean, that's literally what this game is crabbing.
Crab.
Like, you crab to fight, you fight to crab.
I don't fight to crab. I use my crabbing to fuel my fighting.
Else can help fight with you so they can crab.
If you don't lose your monitor, Jeremy, then your PvP is free.
You should just not die. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get reimbursed, so my PvP is always free. Someone else pays for it.
By the way, you do fight to crab. You literally fight to crab. You might not be doing the crabbing, but you fight so that other people can crab. So
Well,
that
then I
you
don't
can keep
fight
fighting.
to crab.
You do.
You're in the
You
biggest.
do.
You're fighting over the biggest
You
crab
fight
region
for
the
the
game
crab.
has ever seen, my friend.
Yeah.
The biggest crab region in the game is TKE right now.
What
Well,
are you
right
talking
now.
about?
Right
But-
now,
Okay.
it's Veil of the
Did you
Silent.
look at the MER, or are
In the
you
last-
just talking?
No, I'm talking about how, like, in terms of like quality of space, TKE is far better for crabbing than Delve.
Yeah, but that's not
No.
what makes
Yeah,
Delve
so get
good
the
for.
fuck out.
That's not what makes Delve good for crabbing, though,
So
dude.
leave.
Like,
Goodbye.
Jesus.
Hey, Jeremy,
Leave us to our shithole.
when we're done killing goons, can you please invade TKE?
No,
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's insane. Listen, just from a tactical perspective, it'd be insanely hard to invade TKE because of the Triglavian space. You got like one entrance in there. It's a really good grabbing space right now. I'm kind of jealous.
But I'm looking at it.
The Triglavian incursion made it really good.
April 2020 MER. NPC bounties. Delve reigns supreme. Awasa in second, and Paragon Falls in third.
Oh, it's Baby Bunny.
Dude,
How's it going, buddy?
Awasa is amazing. We had one system with a Retaru in it, which cost us like 1 bill, and we staged out of it for Blop, so you could hit 330 systems.
Mining value. Delve also has the most.
Yeah, because everyone's in Delve right now.
More than.
I'm not saying TKE has more people
Let
in
me
it or
finish
anything.
my
I don't know why
sentence.
you're quoting the MER.
Delve has more mining activity during this war than even any individual high-sec region, which that's crazy. People were saying
Everyone's here.
that no mining was taking place, but I think the numbers say otherwise.
What are you talking about? The top mining regions for the last 4 to 5 months have been the top 15 were high-sec systems. With one
I'm
other
looking.
scenario.
Total mining value by region, April 2020. I'm looking at Delve, 18.
That's last year. Last year.
I do want to make sure. You're
What year
looking?
is it? What year is it?
Fuck me.
That's how much I value your opinion.
That is the
Okay.
Jeremy moment.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for a while I've been trying to pit, in my own little way, pit Dawn and Marius against each other, trying to hope that Marius is going to trump her. But I can't help you no more, my friend.
Dude, you know what?
I'm on Dawn's side now.
Well, I've been.
What an idiot move.
That was pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible. Like
So
I
if
don't.
we go to this year's mining level region, actually Veil of the Silent is the number one. And
It is.
Delve,
It is. Yeah.
Delve is like the very last, with Outer Ring having slightly less mining value and Great Wildlands having slightly more.
It's almost like we've been invaded, and we do things other places. I don't know if that's happening, but that's kind of what the data is indicating.
So goons confirmed in Veil the Silent confirmed.
Hey,
Yeah,
goons
for sure.
confirmed.
No, we're in high sec. Remember,
Oh,
I could run on the high sec ticket since I have a character that lives in high sec all the time.
By the way, Don, unlike your fair weather friend Rundle All Nighter, sorry, dude, I fucked up your name. I've been in your corner this entire time in the Don Rhea versus Marius P
Yes, I know you have.
death match. So yeah, just gonna say, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I trust Rundle. He kind of likes to switch sides when one side ends up being.
You
an
are
idiot.
the ultimate in the switch side. Oh my god, this is a Dreadbomb guy talking about switching sides. Which day of the week is it? Are we going to align ourselves?
Rundle.
We never had
Rundle.
side.
Yeah,
We've been on the same side the entire time, and it's the side of
your side.
The side of content, my friend.
Yeah.
The side of
Yes,
content.
sir.
The gods
I'm
of
on the side of
content have
truth.
spoken, and that's
Always the initiative.
You're on the side of protecting bodies.
They whisper in our ear, and that's where we go.
And I was on the side of truth, and Marius, the truth was that was a fucking moronic move.
Imagine telling the truth in
Joe's
online in
so
2020,
strong.
dude.
He was just telling a truth that was a year out of date.
Yeah, you're right. He's not wrong that in April of last year, we were still on top dog because everybody was fucked.
Here's some more truth. Nick Bison is running for CSM 16. His motto is vote often, vote soon, vote often.
So speaking of CSM 16,
I like how everyone on your show gets. I like how everyone on TIS gets mad, Rundle, when you say that. They're like, "That's not true." I'm like, "Come on, it's a joke." Like literally, the last 5 times that you've said it, everyone's been like, "You can't say that if it's not true." I'm like, "Come on, dude, it's a fucking joke." Like, chill.
You can say whatever you want. Listen, the sky's purple.
Well, it is purple, is it not?
Wait, it's not purple?
What was being said
purple
that
in there.
wasn't true?
I've taken like 30 of my grandpa's Viagra's and I see everything in purple. So
Hey,
Oh,
Dawn.
nice.
Dawn,
What?
if you start Rorqual mining in T5Z, I won't be able to jump my dread to the Sino, so you should do that.
You know what? You're right. You know what else you can't do is jump to all those beacons you guys turned off. Oh, what happened to the beacon vibe?
We didn't turn
them
off.
off.
I distinctly remember trying to bridge to those beacons to use them for my benefit, and I couldn't. So what
Because
happened?
do you know what happens is that when
What
we aren't manning and actually watching those beacons, they get turned off.
There were still people watching those beacons.
what?
I don't know what you're talking about. The one Smed one was still up, so why weren't the other ones up?
I don't know. Somebody just forgot to turn it off that day.
Interesting. I appreciate,
I'm
by
gonna
the way,
let you guys
Loki,
think
that
that through.
Loki, that you low key confirmed that you're listening to.
Oh, I know,
Talking
because
Station. I appreciate
oh no, it's not that I'm low key. I literally listen to it at work like all
no,
the time.
low key. Did you? Okay, dude, that one went right over your head.
No, it didn't. It
Whoosh.
didn't. Because every time somebody says low key, I'm like hello, and like it took me like multiple months to actually like make that break in connection in my brain so that I can be like, oh yeah, low key.
just to confirm, for any Goonswarmers out there, all beacons are currently online. Should you wish to jump to any of them?
I was wondering if they were off forever, or if you turn them back on, or
What are you
what's
talking
happening.
about? They're not all online.
I don't know.
But anyway,
most of them are.
I do actually listen to Talking Stations often, and that's because I like to prepare for this show. And oftentimes you'll find that there's only so much news in Eve. So
you copy them.
No, I don't copy them. I like
recycled
to.
content
Yes,
is
I'm
after
like,
all the best content.
basically,
Just ask Don.
I just look
Yeah, I
at
know.
I look at Asteroid and like I
He's a-
basically just write down everything he says and I just regurgitate it here on the
I'm
air.
shameless.
What's
I know what
Talking
I'm about,
Stations?
son.
See, so basically what happens in the EVE Online media sphere is that the meta show happens on Saturday, and then we do a show, well, Riker does a show on Sunday that is like meta show light, but from the other side. Then we do a show on Tuesday that brings up some of the same talking points, but mostly just shits on everything because this is a terrible show. And then Dawn does a show on Thursday that tries to make this show better, and then it all starts again. We reset,
See,
drink up on Fridays, and then
sometimes we
it all
get the news
resets.
first.
Yeah,
It's
but
rare,
very
but we do
rarely.
sometimes. We get it sometimes.
Well, yeah, because it depends on when the news happens, obviously, right? Like, so breaking news doesn't happen on Monday every single time or Sunday every single time. Sometimes it happens on Tuesday during the day, and then we're able to report first on it on this show, and then you get to talk about it. And obviously, you know, TIS is on what every day now, I would imagine. So, or
What can they talk about every day?
so,
So
right.
Marius, real quick, can
Good
you
question.
say, Marius, real quick, can you say the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog?
Yeah, go ahead. And give me the floor. Yeah. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay, cool.
Why?
Thanks.
You miss
I'm
Brown.
making sure that he's not having a stroke.
No.
Letter of the English.
No, I think you're on target, Redline. I think you're doing well.
What do you mean? I'm on target.
No,
With
for what you were doing there.
Stay
You
on
got it.
target.
No, I think I'm on top of what you're doing. I get it. I think you nailed it.
Spelling
Nice.
cop.
Anyways, so Villy, I know you're running for CSM this year. Is anybody else on this channel running for CSM this year?
I thought you said you weren't going to run this year. Did you change your mind?
Oh, Villy?
When
Yeah.
did he ever say he wasn't?
Like 3 months ago or 4 months ago, someone asked, "Are you going to run again?" He's like, "Fuck no."
He made a post talking about his Stannis Baratheon character. Like he was 100%
That's what I was
roleplay.
asking.
That
I was asking because he
he's
said he
gotta
wasn't going
run.
to.
I
like
was
a couple months
definitely
ago.
less positive about running a couple months ago, but it's looks like it's going to be me again. So
Fucking Pro God, dude. Why can't Pro God just like do it? Give you a break.
he's got other stuff going on. So I'll do it one
So-
more, and then I don't have to worry about doing it again because I won't be able to. So
Yeah,
hang on,
so this is the
Battle of the
last,
Blackwater. Is Battle of the Blackwater currently going to be like the 1D key thing? Is that like in your grand plan of Game
No.
of Thrones memes or what?
No, that'll be the battle at King's Landing. Like
I
in
mean, it would
season-
make sense, right?
Season 8, was it? Season 8.
Fuck. So has
F6?
Blackwater already happened? It must have already happened. You have to go back in time, Billy.
M2. That was M2.
Would have been the battle. Oh yeah, obviously. Yeah, that's a good point. Good job. Okay. Well, wait. What if they lose a bunch of Titans in 1DQ though? Then
I mean,
I guess it's still Battle of King's Landing. Obviously, it has to be. Right?
Yeah. So like the 1DQ constellation is King's Landing and weird Daenerys Targaryen.
But why can't
So
like
you're gonna go
1DQ be
crazy
King's
and
Landing?
burn everybody down.
Yeah,
why
pretty
can't
much.
1DQ just be one King's Landing, and then maybe there's another battle in the constellation that then pushes up the Battle of Blackwater to be that. Although I don't know if you're going to lose that many Titans this time. It'd be very
well,
difficult
the
to do that.
reason why is that I need goalposts to move. So like, if I set like too
worry,
high of
Redline.
expectations,
I
then
got
the
you.
goalposts moving is more abrupt and less smooth. And
Listen, I'll cover it.
I need goalposts to move.
Oh yeah, you used
Redline
to be in Goons.
TTT 2021. Perfect.
Right.
So
Yeah.
clip that.
I used to be in Goons. Yep. That's me. Redline used to be in Goons 13. Definitely defines my character.
That's why you're
David
moving
Archer,
goalposts.
We'll just call you Dave.
No. See, I'm just preparing to move goalposts. I'm not actually moving them yet. There's a big difference. Big difference.
I feel like you're moving the goalpost here.
I'm not. Stop. Just. All right, I'm going to stop talking for 3 seconds.
Okay, well, they had some weird announcement that they have yet to clarify.
It would be Dawn to silence.
Yeah, because I don't like silence. So they announced adding pirate asteroids to Gate. Has anyone seen them?
No, I think what that is just an awkward English sentence. They removed the asteroids where the pirate factions would spawn where you could farm the officers.
Yeah, we know that. That's from last
so
week.
what they're doing is they're making the pirates that would have normally spawned at the asteroids now spawn. In other words, the pirate asteroid spawns, they're making those spawns spawn at the gates.
But they already spawned at the gates.
No, not necessarily, but they're guaranteeing
it
they do now.
So there are specific NPCs that spawn officers, so that you could farm the officer modules and stuff like that. Those NPCs were only spawning in belts. With the removal of said belts, that removed those specific spawns from spawning at all and cut off the officer farming in those regions. Now, those NPCs, in addition to regular gate NPCs, which are different, will spawn on the gates. These are not diamond rats. And I love how hard you baited Bill on that earlier, and you didn't even try. But Bill was posting it everywhere trying to get clarification. It was the most desperate thing I've ever seen. And I think you should do that more often.
I've asked CCP directly for the answer, so hopefully I'll get it before Thursday.
I just gave you the answer. Like, what do you mean? That's the answer.
I don't care what your answer is. I want to hear what their answer.
CCP Swift basically said we were correct. I think you did. See, there we go. He's doing it again for you right now.
Look, oh my God! Wait a second. I need to take a screenshot. Print screen.
Exactly, screenshot that.
Because someone with a CCP tag just said what Redline said is right, and I live for these moments.
No, whoa, it's his first month, dude. Calm down. It's not true.
He doesn't know to say you're
wrong. He's still making the transition.
Okay,
mostly right.
I'm not screenshotting that at least. I mean,
only
Swift.
Mostly right.
Yeah.
I'm not screenshotting that.
No, Swift. No, you're right. Yeah, that's it. It's locked in, dude. There's screenshots already. Redline already has this tweeted by now.
It's these learning moments in Eve, that make being part of Eve so much fun. When you can see someone right in real time just fuck up and there's nothing they can do about it.
What are you talking about? Who fucked up?
Swift with his straight up is right. Now he wants to correct it, and now he wants to kind of go back. It's like, shit, I warped to the gate alone, and now I'm tackled, and I don't know what to do. He's just having that moment right now. It's all right.
So what's not right about his explanation?
Yeah, who cares? Seriously, whatever.
But I wanted. Okay, well, first off, officer hunting with the ability to warp back and forth from each gate, and that's it, is the most asinine way to try and get an officer
But
spot.
it's better than zero, and they had to try to put something in to kind of stopgap it.
don't
I
know,
don't
there's
think this is the way it'll stay,
There's
but
some things called moons or planets where they could just like a spirit customs officer or anything other than what they're doing.
Yeah, but then that
Whatever.
would fuck up people doing PI, and I just can't
Who
really
gives
That would
have
be
that
funny.
right
about
now.
them?
Were there
Would be
people around
funny.
for Rise switching like from sorry, Jesus Christ, from EVE Online to basically like as a player and then going into a dev? Were there people around for that? Like, do we know about that exact like that time period?
What about it?
My main question is like, was there a time? I mean, there's a lot more shows than there used to be, right? But like, was there a time where you have a player that turns CCP dev where they're actually more beloved than Elise Randolph was, basically by the entire player base and all of the streamers? Because I just
I
find
don't.
that really interesting.
You know, you bring up a valid point. Like, I know it's Trash Talk Tuesday, but I don't know of many Eve players that I enjoy more than Elise Randolph.
Yes, Elise, you were around. We probably figured that out. Pandemic Legion was, I think, around when Rise was a CCP dev, I would imagine.
What a weird conversation.
I know, right? So, anyways, did we
Here's-
finish talking about the CSM? Is that what we did? So nobody else is running. All right, so we're all just gonna vote for Villy. By the
That's it.
way, so last year we did the CSM debates, and they were pretty fun. So we're gonna do them again this year. They're gonna be in May, probably. Like right now, I'm slating it for the 22nd and 23rd. So if you've got people that you know that are running for the CSM, make sure that you direct them to the New Eden Post Discord so that they can get that information once it's fully released and available.
We will be providing the same similar options on Theta Thursday. So hopefully I can
We'll
snag a
actually
couple.
watch the Trash Talk Tuesday debates.
Well, they won't be
So-
the Trash Talk Tuesday debates this time, because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get people from other media groups as well, so it's not just me and the gang from the New Eden Post, but maybe some friends from TIS, maybe some friends from other channels. So before you start
Why do you want
bringing
to shrug
in
away from saying
before
our
you
name?
start bringing in competition, you could just try to work together, but it's whatever. It's fine. You do what you do. You're all cool.
I think it's a great idea, Redline.
What
there's
makes
a lot
you
of
divide and conquer?
there's
What
a lot
makes
of
you think
candidates,
that someone
though.
from TIS would want to show up here?
This is literally his way of cutting me out so I don't have to ask questions to CSM members, because we all know what's going to happen if that happens.
What's gonna happen? You're gonna let Zenaria bait you into random bullshit again?
You're going to start
Maybe.
each stream by
What do you mean?
promoting
Start
by
so he can
promoting
start
your court?
talking
What
about
do you
his
mean
nipples again.
Zenaria
Wasn't it
baited me
your
into talking about his nipples?
wasn't it your question that allowed him to talk about his nipples candidly?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
No. I asked like 5 questions, dude. Jesus. I think I talked to Phantomite like twice, I think, and then like I don't know. I don't even think I asked Zenaria a question.
Is Zenaria actually a serious candidate?
No, never.
No.
He's serious in his mind.
And-
100%.
I mean,
His mind is
anytime
like
a
a-
CSM candidate talks about their nipples, I feel like you gotta take a couple points away.
And
Like,
yet our beloved CSM candidate sends us shower pics every week.
That's
yeah, but he has the entire force of the Goonsword Federation, or sorry, the Imperium behind him, right?
Yeah,
So
he has a vote form behind him.
not much of a
Remember.
force anymore, is it?
Yeah, no, we're yeah.
I mean,
don't worry.
plus Brisk
more
has
like
such
a
a
farce
presence
at this
that
point.
he has such a presence. Like, we obviously know it's a joke, but when Zenaria talks about his nipples, it's pretty creepy. I don't know.
Matter of fact, I think this conversation is worse than the conversation that Villy commented on being a weird conversation.
Would you like me to make it worse for you, or are we
No,
good?
I'd prefer
Okay.
we just move on. Anyways, those will be in May, and make sure that you have your CSM hopeful friends show up for those. I think we had like 16 people last time, and this time I'm shooting for at least 20. So I can do 10 each day. So that'll be nice. Anyways, there's that. Yeah, so we were talking about the asteroid stuff. I You know, one thing that I noticed about that, and this is happening a lot more lately, is just that shit like that gets changed without a thought of what the system, like what systems in Eve actually get impacted. And like for a company that literally puts out videos that talk about how everything is interconnected, you would assume that those things would be realized before, changes like removing asteroid belts that remove an entire line of modules get published. Do you guys agree or disagree on that?
Well, that's the way it used to be, and they used to fuck that up too. So I think Burger's main kind of direction is we're going to change shit, and then we're going to fix the things that we break. And this is like case in point. They changed something, and now they're trying to fix the things that they broke.
So like
We
shoot
talk-
first, ask questions later type shit?
Oh my God, we're not getting into this.
Yeah. On Saturday, we talked a lot about it, but it is astounding. I don't know why I get surprised that an ecosystem team, potentially, I don't know if somebody else would have done it, but I assume the ecosystem team made a change and didn't think of the impact on the ecosystem for removing one thing and what that would do. Because that is such an integral part of so many different systems. Because you can't, unless you put down an Athenor and get Moonfrax, you can't start the mining ADMs. And you can't get the military index up unless you happen to have a couple sites already spawned in there or get some DED sites or what have you. And it's just like, I don't know why this is so difficult.
I mean, I
You
don't
just
know
ask
either.
somebody.
And like after, 15 years of doing it, you'd assume that it would be a science at this point.
Well, that assumes that like you have CCP devs who've been on staff for 15 years and that they've actually been playing the game like the entire time, which is not the case, right? Like that's part of the issue. I think that like we're seeing a lot of immediate changes, little fixes right now because we're allowing CCP devs to go back and actually play the game that they're a part of or part of actually like literally producing or making. So it's interesting, but like I wonder how many people within the ecosystem team have been playing even if or had played even if so, how long that had actually been for and at what level they actually like got to in terms of like, ability and you know, obviously if you play with like better groups, you're probably going to have a more informed position on things because you're using like the collective minds of like the alliance that you're with, right? So that's like a whole thing. I mean, this is a very complicated scenario. Um, just looking at EVE Online in general, and if you have literally no experience in playing and you're like a brand new dev, like good luck. Like it's going to take you years to figure shit out, especially back when you couldn't even play the game that you were supposed to be changing. Like I don't even know how. I mean, obviously those equations don't match up, and I guess that's why they're allowing them to now play, and that obviously makes sense. But I mean,
Well, then
that's I get,
that
so
just makes
how do you change things, right? Like how do you actually make things work if you don't understand how everything works together? How Tobias web works with rats in a belt and curse? Like, you know what I mean?
you bring in more people like Elise Randolph to tell you.
Well, I mean, yes, that's that's a great answer, I suppose. But I just wonder how many Elises there are on the ecosystem team right now, maybe.
I'm
Not
willing to
not
bet
to
that
throw
there's not
shit.
very many.
Exactly. And not to throw shit at CCP, but
Well, no, we would never throw shit at CCP. That would be
I
like
think we've thrown shit at
retaliation.
CCP quite a bit on this show sometimes, but we love CCP obviously because if without them we don't have a game, and I like this game.
No, I'm usually the one that's always like, we can't be so critical of CCP. Why are we always so
You're the
critical?
you're the voice of reason. Yes, I think I'm the one throwing shit at CCP most of the time. To be fair.
And see, now we've got CCP Signal here. He says, "How dare you throw?" So there, that's what happens, I suppose.
Like
Yeah,
monkeys
so
tossing poo in a zoo.
what's
I mean,
that?
It just
that is
happens.
those are the tenets that this show is
It
built
just
on.
happens. It just happens.
If we're being honest.
Right. I mean, it just happens, right? I mean, it's not like ill intent. It's just, hey, look, there's poo. Let's throw it, right?
Well, it's not that it just happens. Is that like if you remember, like especially back early in Eve's inception, right? Eve was a very different place than it is now, and obviously we've improved with the times. But it was a very semi-toxic kind of environment. There were toxic people and there were toxic things like that. I think this show is kind of a, I don't know, a Twitch terms of service variant on, or, I don't know, time capsule, or, a place where we can actually air our grievances in a slightly non-politically correct way and do things. I think that that's actually a really interesting thing. And I think that at the end of the day, once, if something happens in the game, and you have both sides of a conflict. So, i.e., last week we had myself and a couple of other people who were involved with RC, and then we had Snuff on, right? You can get to places in that discussion slash obviously turns into argument where you're not going to get if you try to keep everything super controlled and super low key on a nice little talk show. And it's not to say that those nice little talk shows shouldn't exist. It's just to say that this show actually has a place within the Eve community and within the Eve universe. And I think that a lot of people don't like that, and I think that that's fine. But I think that there's a fair amount of people that do, and I mean, it kind of adds to, Eve is not a kind place, and so why should this be a quote unquote kind place?
I'm having a little bit of trouble processing most of what you just said, if I'm being honest.
There were a lot of words.
We're being criticized for throwing shit, so we throw shit because that's what players do, is throw shit.
Who's criticizing us for throwing shit? We're
Rundle.
criticizing.
No, it wasn't.
Is Rundle?
No,
Rundle.
it wasn't at all.
How dare you
Okay.
criticize? Well, Loki
I
said
was
it.
saying
It must be true.
No, I'm saying it's perfectly valid. I mean, there's shit there, so we throw it, right? I mean, I didn't put the shit there. The shit appeared because sometimes shit happens in the world and shit happens in the game, and this forum here is to pick up the shit and throw it. I mean,
this is a game that's continuously generating shit, right? Like that's literally what EVE Online is.
It's like monkeys at a zoo throwing shit. I mean, they're all shitting everywhere, and sometimes there's the shit there, and they just start throwing shit at each other. It's not like they woke up in the morning and like, look, I'm going to throw shit. I'm specifically going to go throw shit at CCP, and I'm going to just make up stuff. I mean, it's just sometimes shit happens and we throw it.
All right,
like monkeys in a zoo.
I saw you as being very sarcastic here.
No,
My bad. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a valid, and I understand what you're saying. I think it's a valid form of conversation that this forum offers that other forums don't, and so you can very freely pick up the shit and throw it hard if you need to. And I think CCP, I hope on some level they appreciate that we're just being direct and we're hurling the shit because they put the shit there or the shit appeared. And man,
are you going for a fucking record, by the way?
There you go.
Like how many times you can say shit in 5 minutes?
Yes.
All right, next we'll go for Matani's eat my ass record.
Copyrighted, you have to pay for that.
So what's interesting though, and like my entire point was that like, so in the shit, right? Like there's nuance to arguments, there's nuance to what's going on in the game. And so I think that at the end of the day, this show gets to a lot of nuance that other shows are not going to get to. And that's kind of, I think that that's ultimately like really kind of constructive at the end of the day, despite the fact that this show is extremely deconstructive.
Sorry, I just had to make a comment real quick. Someone asked if this stream continues with and the CCP stream that starts in minutes, and I had to make sure that everybody knew that it does not, because unlike this show, Carneros is lovable, and we are not. So if you want lovable, make sure you check that out. But anyways, like this show is interesting. It's always been interesting because it brings people that wouldn't normally get to talk. Like Jeremy was here earlier. Usually no one will listen to Jeremy talk because usually they want to keep, what little brain cells they may have left. But we bring Jeremy on all the time just because we like the pain of losing brain cells.
It's okay. Marius is here to fill the void.
Well, I mean,
the void of stupidity.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we're clear.
I don't think Marius is stupid.
Neither do I, dude. It's a thing, right? Like
I think he just pretends for TV, right, Marius? You just pretend for TV.
I think Marius and Jeremy would make a good couple.
I forgot what year it was when I came onto this show, so I'm
to
not.
To be fair, this year's been a blur. So.
Of intelligence.
I mean, it's hard when you're a blazing bunny all to remember anything most of the time.
When Dawn is the one coming at me for it, it's like it's hard.
But
rash.
But you just forgot what year it was for content, right? It wasn't really forgetting what year it was it?
We're all here, just and sometimes we need a laughing stock.
And how many years has it been for a Brave Tune? Just question. Oh, sorry, I said Tune. Oh my god, dude. Sorry. Brave character in this game.
I'm not in character right now. What are you
No,
talking
but
about?
like you've existed in EVE Online for how many years coming from Brave?
I've been playing since the year of our Lord 2016, I believe.
You spent 5 years in fucking Brave? Wow, that's good.
Not in Brave. I've been in Brave for like almost 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I think Jeremy and Marius would make a good couple.
Oh, that's pretty. That's very progressive.
I need to know why. I need to know why. What makes
Yeah, why
what
would they
makes
make a
you
good couple?
what makes you think that?
On that, buddy.
I have no idea. I just the thought popped into my head that I should say that to see how people react.
Gregorian, I like your style, my dude. I like your style, my dude. I like Gregorian's so like straight laced on talking to stations, and then he comes here and he's letting his hair loose a little bit. I like it. I like it a lot.
Greg, how long is your hair, by the way? Do you have long hair or do you have short hair?
Last time I had a haircut was years ago.
Okay, so you're bald.
No, I have very long hair.
Flowing locks.
What's
Would
up,
you be
Don?
willing to bring Mifune down?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll bring Mifune down.
I don't know what he wants to say, but yes.
All right, welcome to Theta Tuesdays with Don and Mifune. Mifune, you're on
Yeah.
the air.
What's up?
Dude, you gotta shake your laptop a little bit more so we know that we're on Theta Thursdays. I mean Tuesdays.
I know, right?
I'm actually on my
There's something
phone
I
right
can do
now.
about it.
I'm actually on my phone right now, laying in bed.
Nice. I wish
You're
I
very
was
quiet.
laying in bed.
You.
Can we just
So, what's
enjoy
up?
it?
How are you feeling from the thing?
The
What?
thing.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Me?
The happening.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I passed out for like 7 hours, but I'm solid.
Are you
What
speaking Russian yet? Are you fluent in Russian? Because that would be cool.
No.
Oh.
Like I went home. I got home at like 2 o'clock, laid down, played Pokemon Go for a little bit, went to sleep, and then I woke up at 8. So it's been a good day. Been a good
You guys
day.
in
Pokemon Go in your house?
You guys in Pokemon Go, dude. Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
how
play
does
Pokemon
Pokemon-
Go at my house.
It's infected like an entire segment of Eve's community. Like they're just Pokemon Go guys now.
I got the Pfizer vaccine. That's
Oh no shit! I got mine last week too.
nice. Well, today was my second dose, and they told me congratulations when I left, and I thought that was weird because I don't.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
They said congratulations, you're done, and I was like, huh, okay.
Those are actually going to be the key words that turn you into the Manchurian candidate in like 20 years. So,
Yeah,
like, wink.
Shooter's right. See you in 6 months is
Some
absolutely correct.
dude will pat you on the back and say, "Congratulations, see you in 6 months," and then like you'll just turn into a sleeper agent. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, well, the first one wasn't bad at all. I was terrified for the second one. I was like, "Ugh, don't kill me," and then yeah, so I'm seemingly okay. I guess we'll see tomorrow. Normally they say
Hydrate.
within like 6 to 8 hours if you're gonna feel bad with it, between about 6 to 8 hours you'll start to feel bad, and then that's when you know that you're gonna get actual sick from it. But it's been
Red
been
line mute.
10 hours. So what?
I have a friend who was a doctor, and he was saying really the majority of people feel it. If it's going to be real bad, you hit it right around the 8 hour. Most people will feel something in about 24 hours. So tomorrow morning you might start feeling weird, but hydrate, starting now for the rest of the night. Even if you have to get up and pee a bunch of times, that'll really help. your body over the next 2 or 3 days, and keep doing it for 2 or 3 days. It'll help you.
Yeah,
big
I
time.
drink.
Anyone who's about to do it.
I drink
Can I just-
somewhere between 6 to 10 bottles of water every day. So,
Perfect. Then
one,
you'll be
I
doing
hate
good
the
then.
environment, but 2, hydration is my best friend.
Red Line,
So
did you,
what? When
did
I
you hear
got
about how I got my first one? Waiting for the next one.
Nope.
I got to
Tell
go to
us.
the Indianapolis 500 and get it at the track and drive on the track afterward.
That's amazing.
I
Why didn't
know,
get
it's
to
super
drive on
great.
a fucking track?
Because you don't live in Marion County. You fucking moved
Well,
away.
I mean, I did that. And I'm thankful that I did, but it is what it is.
You're missing some perks.
So I'm not sure if this happened at other vaccination sites, but I felt weird after I got it because after they gave me the first dose, they were like, okay, you can leave the building at like 6:25. But until then, we need you to sit in the area over there for like 15-20 minutes just so that we can make sure that you don't pass out or like have an allergic reaction to the vaccine or something like that. So for 15-20 minutes, I was just sitting in this room 6 feet apart from like 12 other people, and we just sat there in complete silence for 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's
And
how they're doing it, man.
it was just awkward to me. It just really was, especially because it was such a tiny confined room. There was like nothing on the walls. It was just one light in the middle of the room. It felt, I don't know, man. I was creeped out.
Bro, just take out your phone and do what everyone does and read the news on your phone.
Man,
I
that's
played
just like a
Pokemon Go.
Saturday after a bad Friday.
Anyways, Rundle, I thought I was out of the woods. Thanks for, saying that I wasn't. I fucking hate
Sorry, bro.
you.
Sorry.
Your symptoms were 12 to 16 hours after my shot.
You just
Nice.
noceboed this guy. Now he's gonna have the worst symptoms possible because you told him that he might.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Like that's
it's-
just gonna happen. And
Yeah, it
and I
could be
hate you for it.
Pterogenesis as well. It could be Pterogenesis. So,
What the fuck
you
is
never know.
Pterogenesis?
Oh, come on, you never watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm sorry.
No, I only watch
Nerd.
canon.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon.
No, it's not. Kevin
I know it
Feige
is.
said it wasn't. He said this isn't canon, so it's
Who the
not.
fuck is Kevin Feige?
Who the?
We are all here together today to discuss the merits and critique EVE Online, not fucking whatever bullshit cape show you're talking about.
Yeah, what'd you guys talk about already?
Bell.
That it's really
CSM.
2021 and not 2020.
Did you guys talk about the Anger Games this weekend?
We did not.
Not
Alright.
angry enough here yet to do it.
Alright, so for all those who are really salty, especially those in Twitch chat, I see you. The Anger Games are happening this weekend, so I think it's around like 1800. They start and they'll be on the Even T channel, and you can watch Dirk and what's his name? I can't say his full name. Soth are
Soft
the
or so.
yeah.
Castillo.
So they're handling everything and they're kind of campaigning and leading and organizing everything. So they're going to be running the Anger Games about 1800 Saturday, and I believe it's like around 1800 Sunday too. And they'll go for a few hours each time. You can watch nerds blow each other up. It's 7v7, 100 points, only 2 ships of each kind, except Logi's excluded. And you might see Itanas. So it should be lots of fun.
You just said Logi's excluded.
Yeah, so like you can only have 2 frigates, 2 cruisers, etc., but Logi's not included in that count. So you can have two cruisers plus a Logi cruiser.
What
But
about
you can't have a Logi
alliance
team.
tournaments where you can have 4 destroyers, even though you can only have 3 of one hull?
Well, Volta is there, so we might see that, but hopefully not.
Or Volta.
You throwing shade at Volta?
Yeah, they have a team,
For
but they can't
cheating.
count.
But they're
Wait, man.
wormholers. We can't throw shade at wormholers. They're so
They are-
sensitive.
They have Sov.
Volta are not wormholers, dude. What? Oh, because they started in Thera. Okay, fair enough. I understand.
isn't a wormhole.
Era, but now they have Sov, so you can't call them wormholes.
No, now they're major null blocks. This is what we discovered
That's
last
just
week.
you guys. That's
You
just
you
you guys.
you have one fucking system. You're fucking major null block now, boys. So
If you
have fun with that.
You look at Sov.space, they have a name as well for their null block. It's called Hostile States. I don't know who came up with that, but it's a play on the fact that all the other alliances that hold Sov are called neutral states if they're not part of a block.
Thera a wormhole. You can set your death clone there, and it has Sisters of Eve NPC stations.
Yeah,
And
but in order to get there, you have to enter a wormhole.
you get to delve through a wormhole too.
Yeah, but you can also get to delve
That's
through
true.
gates.
Listen, infallible
You have
logic.
to
You can
live
get
in
to
Jay's
delve in a
space and
wormhole.
crap in
They're a
Jay's
wormhole
space to be
line.
a wormholer.
Can I just point out that Redline and CCP Swift are the only two people currently getting paid right now? Probably.
What are you talking about?
It's a good point. I'm just making good points. That's all.
Huh?
You guys are getting paid?
Exactly. I mean, Swift might actually be off the clock right now, but I mean, like maybe there's some retroactive
Is he
pay in there.
hourly?
I don't know. I mean,
If he's
who knows?
salaried, then he's always getting paid.
Dude, how do people in Iceland pay their employees? Like, who even knows, right?
Probably people that work in Iceland.
I'm pretty sure I don't get paid to watch. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, someone's gonna have to watch them if you're not watching them. So, like, really, you should probably try to fight for that, dude.
If they're
Like,
watching us, who's watching them? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
no, but I mean, if somebody from CCP isn't watching every show, I mean, somebody should be. So that should there should be some position or like
Bruh,
fragments
that
of
would
positions.
fucking suck. Like, imagine your job at CCP is to watch stupid Twitch streams. Like, Jesus.
I mean, Elise is doing it for free, so like I don't even know. Like, and he's watching this show for free, which like
Maybe he's a masochist. We don't know.
Have you guys thought about how small Iceland is? Like, do they even have like payroll laws?
No,
So,
it's Iceland's growing every day, though. You can't say it's be small forever.
Growing every day.
I had a bit of
That's a thinking man's joke. Sorry.
I was talking to some old Eve friends of mine this week, and we came up with a really interesting brain teaser that I might as well ask all of you because it relates to CCP. So, in the future, when Eve as a game eventually dies, CCP closes down office, whatever. If there was somehow a source code leak of Eve and people wanted to open private servers, do you think it would happen? Yes or no?
Dude,
Do
it'd
you
be
think
so shit.
No.
It'd be so shit if you were able to just
Let
go on
him
someone's
ask
private
the
server.
fucking question.
That would be the worst thing that ever happened to this entire game.
I stopped listening at when the game is going to die. But anyway, continue, Blind.
He said, would there
Like,
be private servers?
Yeah, so like old versions of World of Warcraft, people hate the new expansions, and so they have those illegal private servers that you can go play on with various expansions or Star Wars Galaxies. After the combat update ruined everything and it screwed everything up, and so people opened private servers where it was free combat update when the source code leaked, and the same thing happened to Club Penguin, and there's so many games
Wait, are
that
we
have
bringing
done
Club
it.
Penguin
all of
into this?
those,
There's
all
Eve
of
private
those,
servers already.
all of those MMOs have one thing in common, and is that they're content driven. Whereas Eve Online is one universe that's not instanced, and it's a sandbox, and it's played.
Bring the community to the private servers. Oh,
How are you gonna get everybody that used to play Eve Online proper to your private server? How's that gonna happen?
The players don't even trust CCP, who's the dev. How are they going to trust some random private server admin?
Can I just point out that
True.
Eve has been dying for what, 18 years now?
Yes.
Or more. So I mean, so A, I stopped listening at that, but B, I mean, we can't get enough fucking people to play this game currently to make things happen. I mean, I guess if somebody wants to spend a bunch of money and make like an official, like a new official kind of Eve Online, if you had like an official illegal server, then I guess that'd be okay. But then like what stops somebody from suing that guy and then shutting it all down?
I think what you're trying to say is the only thing that could happen is if somebody bought the rights from a dying CCP and made Eve 2. That would be the
Oh,
only.
I already know who that's going to be. Like we already have that in the bag if that happens. I mean, it'd be amazing. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you almost have to, because if not, if you're making quote unquote illegal servers and then somehow you've managed to get everybody together to continue playing, they would just get sued and then the game would get shut down completely, and then nobody else would want to try, right? So you'd almost need somebody else to take up that mantle. I don't really see in how things are going with video games currently, Eve 100% dying and CCP just shutting down. I really don't. I might also be like super idealistic. I have no idea. I'm a fucking idiot. Like
Well,
I don't deal with this shit. But
that wasn't an Eve is dying thing. It was more of a like a hypothetical. Like, let's say in the year 2050, Eve is finally dead.
Yeah.
This is not a game though. That's the thing though. This is not really a game that I see dying like at all. I think that you can continue to get, as long as we can continue to get new players, and like I don't see it going away, because it does appeal to a very niche group of players, but it's extremely engaging, very broad, very large, and I think that there's enough wherewithal within the entire thing. I mean, unless CCP somehow went bankrupt, like, so let's say Pearl Abyss decided like we don't like this anymore and nobody else would buy Eve, then I mean, I guess, but
So do you think we should tell CCP to stop trying to kill it if it's not gonna die ever?
no, dude, because
Are
that's
you
probably
insinuating that CCP
literally
is
what's been
trying to
keeping it.
kill it?
That's literally what's been keeping it alive this entire time. Like that's my
Yeah,
hypothesis.
there's literally nothing else like this game. So you could beat it like a dead horse from CCP's perspective, and it would still be around because there's so much sunk cost into it, and there's nowhere else where you can get what EVE Online is. So I really hope that they do things that make the ecosystem, like we were talking about earlier, more rewarding, and that they don't screw over the player base. But I think they could almost do anything and then still have players.
Right. Well, I mean, currently, right, like we're in a really crunchy, like crunch time kind of scenario where the economy is not the economy. Well, it's not the economy. So yeah. So
That's
yeah,
not how I like my peanut butter, bro.
explain. I can explain. I can explain what I mean.
I
The
just
economy
can't.
is not the economy that we want anymore, right? Like that's what everyone's pretty much officially said. CCP does not want the economy that was currently going on to happen anymore. So it's crunch time, dude. We're crunching things down. This is a
Yeah, but you
period of
described it as
dynamic
crunchy.
exchange. As crunchy, yes, like Captain Crunch. It's gonna be delicious, but it's also gonna like destroy the roof of your mouth. So buyer beware.
Now, now that you're talking about, you brought up the economy, and that brings me to a video that I watched today of someone breaking down what it takes to make the capital
Those people are idiots.
capital core thermal regulators.
Yeah, but
And
those
Wait,
people
what's
use like
that?
single slots in industry
know,
with a single character, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to take us 1,000,000 years to build this." It's like, you know what? The Empire State Building would have taken us 600 years if like one dude was like
well,
doing
yes,
shit,
of
right?
course.
Right, but
It's
obviously,
showing the change in the ship, but basically just for the cores, if you did it with a single slot, as Loki said, he starts with a max, and then you can break it down backwards. It would take 16 years to make enough cores for one Titan.
Oh, good. No more
With
Titans.
one slot. With one slot. Now, obviously, you
Remember
put
when Titan
10,
used
you
to
get
mean
all,
something?
you can cut it down, but that's just cores. That's not including all the capital
Remember when it
components.
took the combined effort of whole corporations to make a Titan?
can I just point something out?
Yeah, I just built mine on my own.
So there is no one who's been more critical publicly of CCP Rotati than I have. I think on this show, I've literally like I really fucking went to town a couple of times because I thought that the way they went about these changes, the player messaging and the time frame it was very crunchy, and also just not very good. That being said, so we can make 1,000,000 videos of like current day like mineral pricing and all these unknowns and all this other shit, and it's like it's impossible to build titans. Yeah, that's the entire point right now. We're in the scarcity phase. Eventually you have to assume that if it's currently impossible to build dreads, it's currently impossible to build T1 carriers and super carriers and titans, that eventually something's going to happen where it becomes a little bit more possible to do those things, right? Like there are people who are crying right now. They put
no, sweet summer child. Do you think that they're gonna let us have our fun? No, this
no.
game has
I
to be
think
They
healthy.
said
Fun,
the
not
state wasn't
harmful.
They said the state wasn't permanent. They said it's going to get better. It's not permanent right now.
Eventually it has to, and my point has always been the second
Can't
they
get
see
much worse.
mass subs leaving the fucking game en masse, right? There might be changes, and I've also said that these changes might be way too fucking long. Like it could, this particular state might take way too fucking long. Then they're gonna have to start giving us ice cream again to get people back into the game and subbing back up. Okay, so I've said all of these things. However, I'm very optimistic as to right now it's kind of impossible to do stuff. That's kind of the entire point. If you haven't been listening, that's literally the entire point of this. But eventually, there has to be something where, okay, they can control knobs, they can control dials, and they're going to be able to add to things. As long as CCP are looking at the right metrics, I have faith that things are going to get better. If they're looking at the wrong metrics, then I guess we're all fucked.
I just want you to remember, this is the same CCP that removed belts and didn't realize it was going to fuck over at least 6 different places.
And guess what? They're doing something about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know
it was
bad.
I have little faith that it's going to actually turn out well.
And then there were
only we had a CSM representative here to take these concerns to CCP.
Yeah, Billy, fucking
Billy, say something.
If only CCP
So here's what I'll
listened to the CSM.
The ecosystem team right now is working hard to fix an imbalance that was in the game for years and that was fundamentally at the core of the game, destroying the game. People want to argue about it. People want to say that's not what it was, but that's the reality of what the situation was. They had to step in and they had to make some tough, unfortunate, unpleasant decisions that they knew players would not like so that the game could survive in the long run. Many people are now complaining about all of these changes. They're saying, oh, it's going to be so hard to build these things, and oh, I'm never going to be able to fly these caps again. Meanwhile, they are planning on building these caps and flying these caps again. The challenge introduced by the industry changes will invigorate industry. It will force people to do new things. It will force them, that will give them new challenges to overcome. And people are going to bitch and they're going to complain about these challenges. But in the end, they will step up and they will overcome them because EVE players are not bitches. They do not fucking stand for that shit. They will find a way. That is who we are fundamentally, as people who play this insane fucking game. Right? So every time somebody sits up there and complains like, oh, well, they hate miners, it's like they don't give a shit about miners any more than they give a shit about PvPers. They care about the health of the game and they are working to fix an imbalance. My storm is designed to fix an imbalance in the atmosphere. The ecosystem team right now is going through EVE Online and they are fixing an imbalance at the core of the fucking game.
And are there going to be mistakes? Probably, sure. But at the end of the day,
collateral damage as this storm rolls through, sure. Are they gonna get every single thing in the the industry patch had like how many thousands of like minor adjustments between like this BPC doing this or that or whatever? Yeah, guess what? They made some mistakes, and then they fixed them 2 days later. Like, guess what? That's gonna happen. Like, there's only so many people doing a massive job. They're gonna make mistakes, and then they're gonna fix those mistakes, and they're gonna keep moving forward.
That's
So,
a
like,
lot of words to say you can't make an omelet without scrambling a few eggs, eh?
Billy, why does your voice sound so different?
Eh? Redline, are you sure you're not Canadian like us? Come on.
Bathroom.
He's on his
I think he might be in a bathroom.
I'm on a my laptop right now, so.
Oh, okay.
So, Villy, as a CSM person, I want to ask your opinion on something, and it's something I've brought up on Theta Thursdays once or twice. But just one of my, I agree with both you and Loki that honestly, yeah, these changes are going to be better in the long run. But one of the things that I thought of is that maybe part of this player confusion and anger comes from that we didn't expect it to go in this direction, if that makes sense. Like back in 2019, 2018, during the keynotes, they would have roadmaps that say, hey, this is what we're going to end up doing for the next 6 to 12 months. And after those stopped, that's when we had things like the blackout and like the industry changes. I feel like a lot of player anger is coming from that stem of we don't know where they want to end up, like to land.
Well, what I'll say about that is that they know where they want to end up. They have the roadmaps, and they're cautious about showing them to the CSM because the players took those roadmaps that CCP gave them and they used them to beat CCP down over and over and over again. Why are we not getting thing X we got? Why are we not getting thing Y you promised? Why are we not getting thing Z? CCP was like, yeah, we said we'd do this thing, but then something happened, and we can provide Z, and the players wouldn't let it go over and over and over again. So CCP eventually just gave up and they're like, fuck that, we'll just not tell them shit, and we'll work off our own internal roadmap. And the fact you don't get to see it, it is what it is.
Yeah, I work for a big company. I don't show anyone my fucking roadmaps. You get what comes out on the market. Congratulations, no roadmaps.
So
it's a lesson they've learned as a company over the last few years, basically.
So blind, like player outrage, if there wasn't any, I'd be very, very concerned with the health of Eve. Okay. There will always be people who are angry. Currently, we're undergoing massive amounts of change. People are going to be angry. My spreadsheets aren't the same as they were last week. What the little fuck? I can't just like mindlessly drone through industry anymore and buy from the same old people that I've established relationship with. I have to go and establish new relationships and do a whole bunch of work in this MMO sandbox, right? Like it's a really actually it's an asinine kind of way of approaching it, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, though, I think that like this is really important. And if you're listening to CCP keynotes, and that's how you're going to direct the direction that you take in the game, I think that you're seriously misguided. What you need to start doing is look at what is actually wrong with the game, or what do some or most players believe to be perceived as wrong with the game, and then how will CCP address them. And if you do it that way, you're going to get to a place where there's like a whole tit for tat thing, and you can kind of be a little bit more agile, a little bit more flexible, and maybe make better decisions in the long run to accommodate for those things.
So what you're saying is that people that are earlier you said most people were self-interested, that they should not be self-interested, but instead be interested in the type of stuffs that the people at CCP get paid to be interesed in, but
That's
not
not
get
what I
paid
said.
for it.
That's
Oh,
not what I
okay.
said. What I said
Okay.
was, so from a voting standpoint, what if high sec and low sec actually want to change something, then they have to stop being so self-interested, right? So people in Silent Company, for example, can't just think, oh, high sec's the best, because maybe what they need is like a progression from high sec to low sec. Now, obviously, it's very difficult for these people to make those kinds of things happen, because like they're in high sec and maybe they just want to stay in high sec. So there's going to be everyone's self-interested, right? At the end of the day, if voters were somehow able to become less self-interested, the game would improve for sure, because then they would be making these decisions like, oh, like we need low sec to be strong for like a stepping point. At this point, I will say that CCP has done more for low sec in the last couple of months than literally anyone has done in the history of the
I
fucking
want to
game.
ask about that real quick. Has LowSec jumped up in variety of people there, or is it still just a snuff run haven of cartel?
Well, I
I
mean,
think you can look at the war that's taking place in the southeastern sector of LowSec right now as a very clear indicator of just what is happening. There's absolutely a case that yes, snuff has a large influence in LowSec, but that doesn't mean that they're the only thing going on. There's a lot going on in LowSec, and just because it doesn't get press doesn't mean it's not happening.
and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that currently LowSec have the higher concentration of R64s right now in the entire game.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So if you look at all of LowSec, they have more R64s than like any particular region. So that's really good. It brings, and then also you have the Noxian bottleneck. So these things are all great. The unfortunate part about all this, as Phantomite would point out, is that they require, I mean, they don't always require Rorks to mine, but like, the Moon Goo and stuff like that usually Rorks. And if you want to actually take Rorks out and not just completely eat shit, you're going to need a large group to protect you. So they've kind of like, it's like the what did Venom might say, the null secification of low sec, essentially, where you're banding together in these groups, you're making these agreements, and you're harvesting resources, which is great for low sec. The way we're going about it might need some changing, because I don't really necessarily agree that it's great for there to essentially be like two sides in all of low sec. But right now you see that this war is an expression of essentially that, right?
I have to go take a work call. Speaking of work calls, it's been fun. I might be able to return.
So
fun night.
with
Talk
you
to you later.
talking about
Ren.
low sec just in general, like do you think that low sec's in a healthy spot? Like
Well, I'm biased towards old Losec. Old Losec there were passive moons, and you had these really elite PvP groups. I believe PL started in Losec. Elise can correct me if I'm wrong, because he was
Oh,
obviously
that's
there.
right.
But they started in Losec, and so did Black Legion, and so did like Shadow Cartel. So did a whole bunch of things that aren't a whole bunch of groups that aren't really, I mean, PL moved on. Black Legion's dead for other reasons, but I mean, Shadow Cartel ate a lot of shit in this whole thing. I was a member of Shadow Cartel actually near the end, and it was literally, well, our passive moons are now active moons, and they've completely moved all the goo out of Losec. That was a massive problem. Having active moons where you need to literally actively mine them in Roracles or a million coveters is not necessarily what I would personally say Losec should be. Okay, like I'm very biased towards the old Losec, which was you make enough passive ISK for SRP, you go and you kill a bunch of people, and that's what Losec used to be, right? For a wide margin of people. Currently, we need it's all active, so you need to have Brooks on field, or you need to have somebody has to be mining, and you can't really take. It's very difficult to create a group of people that are both hardcore PvPers and also very good at industry, right? So you don't really get a lot of that, and what you get is a lot of um, coalition kind of things happening, a lot of agreements, a lot of moon agreements, a lot of Roracle agreements, things like this. And it's not necessarily good for the way I want Losec to be. Now, can we say that, well, all right, Loki, you've been playing the game too long, and Losec is this now, and maybe there's some new Losec that we can embrace. I'm totally on board with that too. Like that's a whole other thing, right? But for what Losec used to be, like currently, it's just not that. It is much better though. There are many more resources in Losec than there were after the moon changes that happened like 4 or 5 years ago, which killed like Shadow Cartel, among other groups. Stuff ended up cuddling up to Mittens and making all kinds of agreements and getting a bunch of super caps and getting a bunch of dreads and stuff like that. For I don't know what the actual terms of that were, but essentially they did a bunch of shit for the goons.
They
And then,
were full blue Imperium members, we
Yeah.
had full blue status. They could buy stuff from us at normal prices. They didn't have to sneak them out or ship them out or anything. They just, I would believe that almost the entire Snuff Super Fleet at this point was made by J. Amazingness himself.
now that being
That's how much they could buy.
That being said, what was actually really funny about that was that then the goons came and destroyed the Keepstar, which was an Aishi, which is owned by Shadow Cartel. LOL. So I guess Snuff won on that one. But yeah, I mean, that is kind of what happened, right? And for a long time, Losec was kind of barren and unable to support the kinds of things that we wanted. Now that is not the case. But Phantomite would point out that, it's led to a lot of deal making, a lot of coalition stuff. And honestly, I'm part of that. I'm in Wrecking Crew, and Wrecking Crew is kind of a manifestation of those things, right? So I'm not going to sit here and
So the
and
Empire
pretend like
building
that's maybe not an issue, because it might actually be an issue. It does actually go against the interest of my own group, but I mean,
I'm
whatever.
saying Losec has become the empire building area.
Well, it's become very similar to nullsec in that, yeah, because
They have all
you
the good
essentially
stuff.
need oracles. Now, after these work changes, I guess we'll see, right? I guess we'll see what happens. But if we need even more people now to mine those moons and to mine all the Noxim and stuff like that, I I don't really see that as being the best for, again, the way I remember Losec to have been, and the way I wish Losec was now. But that's just me.
Huh. Losec's
Around
always been a
the
weird
old
place to
Losec.
me. I never looked at Losec as something more than just a place to go solo PvP and just look for random people to fight.
I love the solo PvP. Like the non-politics of faction warfare is like so much fun.
Like faction
Oh,
warfare was massive back in the day. I would go solo. It was a great place to go solo. You would also get blobbed, but you had to pick your systems. But you could go solo, and you
Yeah, but
could
like blobbing was like a gang of 10 dudes versus like a fleet of 250. So like it was just
exactly.
great. Like
Exactly.
I remember I would go solo PvP and then I would find other solo PvPers, and there'd be like a gang. So all the solo PvPers would team up, and then we'd fight the gang, and then we'd all just go our separate ways. Like there was like no politics, none of that dumb shit. Like it was so much fun.
Well, Rain, you began streaming when I was in Faction Warfare, I believe, and
Nice.
I
Were you
killed you.
with Waffles?
I was never with Waffles. I
Okay.
was in Shadow Cartel. I started in, so I got out of Pravi, which is a whole other fucking story. I joined Templis Kelsif, I guess, with my corp. We moved in, and then after that I went to Origin. But then I came back, and because Elo dropped us off in Did He Say Jump, and then in Did He Say Jump, I believe you started streaming, and I killed you one time, and I was listening to your stream because they had linked it. Like we basically stream sniped you, but I wasn't like one of the people who were actually stream sniping you. I was just following along, and I guess I was the only one to actually catch you though. But I had your stream up, and then I pointed you and killed you, and then you look at your battle report and you said, "Who the fuck is Loki Choco Chips?" And I was
Yeah,
like,
dude. I love shit talking.
for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, back then, faction warfare was great, and even before that, faction warfare was amazing. Since then, it's dried up for a variety of reasons that I don't really know what the health of faction warfare is now, but I'm going to assume that's not what it used to be.
Yeah, I know one of the big issues folks with faction warfare have dealt with is there's really no incentive to join the losing side. So what a lot of groups do is they just have characters that they put like one side is Amar Kaldari, the other side is Galente Mimitar, and then they just switch and plex. And like there's no real incentive to fight over plexes or fight over faction warfare. And like unless you're doing like the politics of like corps or alliances owning space or moons and citadels and stuff like that, if you're just doing pure faction warfare, there's really no incentive to fight. It's like kind of obnoxious.
Rotati's talked about changing it to it being a little bit more like Fozzie Sob or something.
I just hope he listens to the CSM. Whatever CCP does, I just hope they listen to the CSM because it feels like for the past decade, like ever since I joined the game and even before then, we've always had someone on the CSM kind of represent LowSec or at least have some sort of knowledge of LowSec, and then like literally nothing happens. Like we had Sugar Kyle, we had Gorski, Sutonia carried some of that. Now we have like Phantomite and Torvald. We just have like all these people who know LowSec, and like nothing happens. They're like, oh yeah, we made it so if you have warp core stabs, you can't get in the plexus. Like that's great for a small change, but that's not going to fundamentally help faction warfare.
Right.
What happened with the faction warfare strike that happened in mini Amar space?
Oh, I don't know.
Was big news, and then I didn't hear anything else.
Was that was when they like did a ceasefire where they were just not gonna shoot. They weren't participating in faction warfare because of some sort of yeah. They were just not gonna do it because they thought it was bad and they wanted it changed, and pretty sure that ended like within a week of it actually beginning because when people weren't running the missions, other groups are like, well, fuck it, if you're not running the missions, we'll just run the missions, and then kind of ruin the whole thing.
People cross the picket line, but CC doesn't even need people to run those plexes, so it's not even like really a strike.
Yeah, I mean I don't know, man. So faction warfare to me has always just seemed like this weird mechanic where nobody really does what you're supposed to do in it unless they're bots. Like you join you see a bunch of faction warfare bots and all this and that. There's just so much that can be done with it. But I am not the person to talk about the stuff to do to fix LowSec for sure. That's not my gig.
Yeah, I know. Like I always just think of games like PlanetSide 2 or something where there's like PlanetSide 2 has its own like perks of like being able to balance like 1v1v1 or like 3 different groups fighting. But just something where like there's an incentive to fight, but the incentive is better than if you lose like your T1 frigate or something like that. And I don't know, like the way faction warfare is now, like I remember trying it out with a friend, like actual joining faction warfare, not just PvPing in faction warfare. And it was like we wouldn't even share plexes because it's like the incentive went down, and it's like, well, what's the point of like a group game or a social game where you like can steal other people's on your team, or you can steal the points that they earn for a group effort and like just stuff like that, because CCP has to worry about, okay, it's one thing if it's two individuals, but then what happens if it's like one person multi-boxing, and how can that be exploited? So it's really hard for them to balance, it sounds like.
Oh, what if CCP made a game like PlanetSide 2?
I mean, like a third-person shooter, and their studio in London?
Yeah, something like that.
You mean like Dust 514, but not a PS
that was-
exclusive?
Yes, that's the.
So I think that there's. I wish Loki was, still right here so I could
I'm
ask
right
him.
here.
Oh, hey, I thought
What?
you said BRB.
I
Is
did,
there
but-
anybody else besides Phantomite running for low sec representation this year?
Arcia Elkin.
Elkin?
Yeah, she's really good. She's been playing Eve, God, feels like 15 years, I think. Something like outrageously long. And she does, it feels like everything related to faction warfare low sec space, but she also has some experience in null sec, and then as well as high sec, because she did a lot of the Triglavian stuff, so she has experience there.
Oh,
yeah. I will say also, apparently Seto's running, and apparently we're both a no block and a low block. So I don't know what his campaign looks like or anything because there are very few details, but Seto is running as well. So there's that.
I mean, is he running though? Like really running?
I literally have no information on this.
Double cross everyone in the game. Like
Right,
Gate camper guy who's running.
How do you?
base. You don't have.
Snuff is
Nobody
still
else-
doing just fine,
What
and they
group has
backstab everybody every 5
Dreadbomb
minutes.
backstabbed, like, actually, though?
Oh, well, Legacy for one.
Legacy. We left Legacy and to form an alliance. How is that backstabbing Legacy?
By the way, I will be right back now. So Sean is in charge.
I thought you left Purple Helmeted Warriors to form an alliance.
Okay, I don't know why we were in few. We left, a lot of us left tests so that we could be out of the blue donut, so we could get actual fun PvP, and so that we could feed nightmares, you know? I don't know why we were in few. We were there as a corp, and then we made an alliance like 5 days later.
It was a few months later.
Oh, well, when I joined at least, you know.
Billy, are you ready for
Apparently I'm a
CSM
Dread
again?
Bomb spy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one final run.
But who has Dread Bomb actually backstabbed? I want to know that.
Backstab Billy, dude.
Yeah, you straight up you said, "Hey, Billy, turn around." Chink. And
Yeah.
that's
with
what you
the
did.
whatever fort that was.
Yeah, exactly. Just boom, done. You stabbed him right in the back.
Oh, Shauna, what do you think of that Reddit post a few days
Dude,
ago?
about my fort?
We're talking
Fucking
about
Rich
Seto.
Richmond, dude. Rich, if you're watching this, dude, your Reddit post is cringe. Fuck you.
We're talking about Seto in particular, not Dreadbomb, which is a fairly new.
Well, why are you talking about Seto in particular? That's like...
He's running for the CSM.
Okay, but you also said Dread Bomb is backstabbing people. If Seto's backstab people, I'd also like to know who. He's trying to not take any large political stances during this war.
I mean, his largest political stances were to not take any political stances, to be honest.
Dude, we went
Because
on
to
we
go
went on those
from
tweets, right?
to go from one side of the war to the other, even very
What are you
briefly.
talking about? What are you talking about?
We helped Happy with Dreads during some of the first fights. Our members hated it. We hated it, so we pulled out. That's what that is. It wasn't any fun. They're already winning the war without our however many hundred members, like, and it was just really detrimental. Same reason that RC pulled out is so many of their hunters and active players were just going AFK because no one wants to sit on a fucking grid just shooting a keep star every other day. No one wants to do that. I mean, there's probably some
Hello?
weird people.
Pappy?
There's some weird people.
Yeah, all of
Have
Pappy.
you ever heard of an alliance called Pandemic Horde?
Oh my
All
God, every single
100,000
keep star
members of
time my
Happy.
friend DMs me like, yo,
Okay,
dude, I did
Fedorian.
top 10 damage.
Pandemic
time will come.
Standing fleet whose entire job is to just bash because they're so motivated.
Can I just say though, you guys are super lucky that you have Horde and Brave because I think both of those groups.
Barry
They're
Foldar
carrying
carrying
you.
Brave, dude.
Foldar, I'm in love with
I
that.
love that man.
He is every FC's personal warp scrambling drone.
That's the fun part about like streaming this war stuff is like you just recognize a lot of names. Like, God, who's the goon guy? Oh, hello meow, dude. I fucking hate that guy, but I always give him shoutouts because he's really good at catching people on gate camps.
So
Dude,
I don't know what Sean has actually told you because I just got back and I don't know how much.
Welcome
he
back,
says
Loki.
Right, thank you. But
He's talked for you,
You said
Loki.
that
What
your left arm is a little bit shorter than your right arm.
What I would say, that's entirely incorrect. But what I would say is that, I mean, it's very difficult if you don't have a membership who wants to actually engage in said war. It's very difficult to make them do it, and it's probably really stupid to make
It's
them
really
do it.
not.
And
You
especially if
just say,
they're
"Hey, do
just
this thing," and
really,
they just do
really
it.
tired.
And then
They're
we don't
really,
go to
really
Fleet
tired
Dreadbomb.
of all the they're really, really tired of all the null sector. You have to kind of give Dreadbomb a little bit of a break in that they had literally just formed and then a war happened. Okay. And then from the same standpoint, RC did go and to be fair, I was there and Dreadbomb actually did go originally too. Like we had dreads in Twist, like FWST. We got on both of those, the super thing that happened where they
So
couldn't
here's
tether
where
anymore,
the
and both the
flack and the
Titan
backstabbing
thing.
comes from. Like when people say that there's a backstab that occurred, what ended up happening was that you literally joined the war, got bored with the war, and then decided to essentially go to war against the people you were just fighting
Right.
on the side of, and then literally complain when nobody's fighting you.
We joined the war, got DD'd the fuck every time we got dreads on grid. Went, wow, this kind of sucks. Let's go get some content near home.
Can I just point out though that
But it's still a backstab if you go into Fortizar.
Oh my god, I don't want to hear y'all be so offended that somebody shot you.
And
So-
take Sov and catch. It's really
So
Sov and catch.
whoa. What I will say about it is that if there were proper incentives put into place, if certain people were able to make certain incentives happen, and there was enough incentive not to shoot those people, then that would never have happened. All right. Unfortunately, that's like that lack of diplomacy happened, and so things.
Hearing some shot.
And we got like fucking, I don't know, 10 shows about it, which was great, right? It was great TV. So I mean, I don't think Redline should be mad at all about this. Oh, come on, dude.
You have begged Loki about this shit for at least 4 different weeks.
It's been quite a fucking while. But anyway, at the end of the day, is that I'm not in charge of the deal making. But if I were on the other side, I would have just been like, look, dude, here's a bag of money. Stop shooting our shit. Go do something else. And more than likely that would have actually fixed it. I don't know, because I'm not in those deals, and obviously maybe Seto is above ISK or something. But I kind of have to believe that maybe those groups were not in a position to offer those things, and our membership needed content, and that's what happened. So, I mean,
so you
a
took
low-sec
them.
block. Why don't you get content in low-sec then?
Well, we are getting content. We're getting lots of content in low-sec now. If you haven't been following the news.
But they're a null-sec alliance. Why would they go to low-sec for content?
Oh, the fucking rhetorics are mixing themselves up now. It's very
Yeah.
sticky.
So
It's all
last
very
week
sticky.
or the week prior, you were screaming at Loki about how he's a null block owning, Sov owning entity, and now you're like, well, if you're a low secker, why aren't you in low sec making content over there?
Don, you have to realize we just like making fun of Loki, regardless of who he's with.
Don, first of all,
that,
yeah, we just like
Training
giving
on
Loki shit. The second part is you just said the same thing twice counterfactual. So there's no contradiction there.
Not a
You're
word.
just
Not a
making
word.
Not a
shit up.
word.
No, that's not
No
actually the
shot,
case,
dude.
Marius. That is not actually the case. And I'm gonna say that the Dawn Corner won yet again. So get fucked, Marius.
No,
Dawn Corner
she
doesn't
said-
win anything.
okay, let me break down what she said.
He's right. Counterfactual is a real word.
Right, but
It's
you
accurate.
guys are the ones being
Google it.
counterfactual.
Something that's not
So
happening.
if your rhetoric gets a little bit mixed up, then I guess like it's up to Dawn to point it out, and that's what happened, Marius.
Okay.
So I mean,
So
choose better words next time, my dude.
So check this out, because this is what I'm curious about, because one of the things that you guys did as a freshly formed alliance in Dreadbomb is kill your main source of content in Providence.
That
you
was not
helped-
Dread. That was not
you
Dread
helped
Bomb.
you
It's
helped
the entirety
RC.
of Wrecking Crew, and Wrecking Crew has been
I'm-
hitting
I'm
Provi since
sorry,
I was a noob
you
in
helped
Provi.
RC put
That
the
was
nail in the coffin.
100% absolutely Dread Bomb that killed Providence. You guys absolutely put the boot to their neck and would not fucking release it.
We
The
had
thing
cloaking
that left
campers
with
never
those
Are you
seen.
Wrecking
fucking
Crew for
serious
years-
right now?
Yes, absolutely. The thing Wrecking Crew had been doing for years is they put the boot to the neck, leave it on for a month, and they take it off. You guys put the boot to the neck, and then you put a fucking shovel on the boot, and you made sure that there was no chance for them to recover. You camped their systems in the most brutal of normal nullsec fashions, and the result was exactly what anyone would expect, and that Providence, in pretty short order, failscated.
Well, ironically, at this point, because this would have been very early on, I guess Dreadbomb learned that from you, Billy, or Tess.
Absolutely.
I've got to agree
I
with
don't
William.
claim that I didn't teach you how to do it. I'm just saying that you did, in fact, do it.
So can I just point out the fact that, okay, so just for clarity's sake, I joined Wrecking Crew. I started a corp, and I was involved to some extent in all of this, but I didn't actually get to see what Dreadbomb did at the very beginning. So that is why I was actually retorting what you were saying. And to be fair, I don't actually know. Although Dreadbomb at this point would have been what, Shauna, like 400 members,
Loki,
500
we
members.
had campers in every single one of their systems. If they put a barge out on an Athenor, we'd drop like 5 blops, and if they did anything to that, we would just fucking ping RC, get a fax on grid. Like, there's nothing they could do. They couldn't rat.
Right,
they couldn't mine. They couldn't take
but,
out content
but
fleets.
when I joined,
backing up with Billy's.
When I joined,
I am. Billy's right on that.
He is, but when I joined RC, which would have been around this time period, it was right at the end where I was like, so first of all, I did say, whoa, we got to fucking slow down, but nobody gave a fuck what I thought with Pravi, because, and secondly, I was like also involved in the first purging of Pravi, and I was also like an FC in Pravi at some point. So there's like a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point
there were
is that
additional points that I was going to make there.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't
Like
have
there's
to,
a whole bunch of
we don't have to hang
convolution.
up. We don't have to hang on that point.
But when I joined RC, I was running. I ran some fun blob fleets because the people in the alliance that I was in, they pretty much only would get on board for ganking shit. And I went 5 for 5 on Thenny kills myself, and there was no cloaky camping. It was literally just I warp like a neutral fucking rapier into system onto a anomaly. I would then point the Thanny, and then we would just kill the Thanny. In 5 fleets, I killed 5 Thannys, which is enormously, I think, from a hunting standpoint. I mean, I'm either the best hunter that ever lived, or NRDS is like really, really stupid. So I'm not going to credit Dreadbomb with killing Pravi entirely. They never really wanted to develop capital warfare in at any fucking stage. Secondly, they drove off literally anyone who was of quality who would ever be able to help them, and they fostered no home for anyone to learn fucking anything about actual warfare in EVE Online. Thirdly,
why would they need to learn warfare?
Because they're in EVE Online. Thirdly, they never decided to, like, I don't know, give their dudes super caps. So when RC would escalate with a pathetic 16 super carriers, it was the end of the fight. Every single time.
Everyone wants to use
and it was
supers,
honestly well, you know what though? If you wanna like maintain your SOV, you might want to think about it though. And they didn't. And they weren't they didn't want to use supers. And guess what? They're no longer in fucking Providence.
The reality is
that
Providence, as it was never able to grow a capital fleet. They could grow a decent sized dread bomb from time to time, but as soon as they grew it, Wrecking Crew would usually come in, and they would take the dread bomb, and they would either take it, head on, or they, occasionally they would lose. But Providence was never in a position to grow a super capital force. They're just not the kind of alliance or coalition that was ever what they were going to be able to do.
Yes, Billy, I know. I was in Providence when the goons attacked because Fozzy had changed. I was in FC, and guess what? I killed a whole bunch of fucking goons, and things were great. The problem with Providence was that the Provi block dudes was that they were the same old corrupt motherfuckers for the entirety that they were ever there, and they didn't want anybody new coming in. So you look at like Darkness is actually a perfect counterpart to Providence, because Darkness had like this weird fucking dysfunctional way of like kicking out anyone who ever wanted to change anything and make things better. And that's what Provi Block was. And honestly, I don't really like EQ very much, but I mean, I would say like, EQ is a great guy, but yeah, he really wasn't. The whole thing was fucked from the very inception when I was there. And this is like 8-9 years ago. All right, my dude. So the reason they were never able to get there was literally because their leadership was dog shit and they deserved to be purged from the game. Now, nobody in RC actually ever wanted that to happen, I don't think. Unfortunately, it happened, and then like, well, we're stuck with Pravi, and Pravi has been a region in the game that no one's really ever wanted. That's why Pravi Block has kind of always been able to go back, right? They get purged, then come back, then they get purged, then they come back, because like the writing space is dog shit. Generally, the space is not very good, and everyone can agree on that.
Why did RC take over instead of just leaving it to burn and letting other people move
Because
into that
they
cursed
were
region?
they were shockingly out of content to farm. RC, as we know it today, like Wrecking Crew was originally like Rocket X and some dudes, like killing fucking, they happened to be in that area and they were killing supers because of like jump range phenomena that happens in EVE Online, right? So because you kind of have to come here or from there or from there or from there, then it's like, oh, okay, like they're just camping, they're killing, and that's who they were. They came from PL. They wanted to kill super capitals, right? And then it's like, well, there's a whole bunch of content in Pravi, let's start farming them. And so Wrecking Crew, as we know today, kind of grew from them just systematically farming Providence. The problem with Providence is they never thought about, hey, maybe we have like 10 times more fucking people, and all we have to, and the industrial backbone to do it. Let's just get some guys who know how to use like capitals and super capitals and do this. The problem is they didn't have those people. The reason they didn't have those people is because the entire system was designed to drive those people off, because they're a bunch of greedy little fucks, if I'm being perfectly fucking honest. And by the way, might be one of those people who could have actually helped them at some point had I stayed, but I never stayed. And my corp didn't stay. We actually literally formed a new corp and left and went to Losec because Providence was so fucked.
I
Because
don't know. I
because
feel
of the
that
politics.
that's like
They
finding those
they deserve
people who
to be
can
purged.
turn the people who can turn the masses into cohesive force are incredibly rare.
Right, but it's a leadership. It's a leadership thing. No, but they were not at this point. I don't believe there was HTP. This was 8 years ago, dude. Like I don't know if RC was even involved to any extent, and if they were, it was minimal. But HTP was around, and I ran defense leads against HTP, and I would fucking slaughter them. Like it was easy. It wasn't that hard. The problem was they were not able to retain quality people, and then their entire leadership structure from there was absolute dog shit. That is literally the reason why Providence eventually fell. And honestly, like the weak little buffalo falling to a pack of wolves, that's exactly what happened. And like I'm not really sorry that it happened. Like if we're being honest, I think NRDS is actually a horrible strategic idea as well. At the end of the day. It's very idealistic, and I love that idea, especially in EVE. But I don't think that it's a realistic idea. And now CVA is currently in Syndicate, and I don't know what the fuck they're doing there. But hey, don't really give a fuck either. At the end of the day, that is
Same,
literally
to
the
be
history.
honest,
Or is
because that wasn't my point at all, and you just went into a tirade and completely cornered the entire conversation to tell us the history of why Provi Block is dead, but no one cares why Provi Block is dead.
Well,
We're talking about how Dread Bomb literally is on two different sides of the same coin, trying to exist in a world that they're saying that they are not trying to exist in. So like,
so they exist in EVE
you want
Online,
to talk about,
which is a
you
game.
want to talk like, you weren't here when Shanna said it, so I can understand if you don't have the context, and that's fine. But we weren't talking about Provi Block. No one gives a fuck about Provi Block. What I'm talking about is how, on one hand, you've got people saying that RC and Dreadbomb didn't want to be a part of nullsec warfare and what goes into nullsec warfare. And so instead of participating in the largest war that this game has ever seen, you went and did your own personal war that consisted of the same exact content, but probably even less boring because it didn't have the fun and spicy. I'm sorry, probably even more boring because it didn't have the same fun and spicy narratives as World War B2.
Right.
That's
but
what I'm
saying.
saying.
The problem with that argument is that Pravi fell at the beginning of World War B.
No one cares about Pravi.
So you're talking
That's what
about
they fucked
you're talking about all of the other stuff we did after that?
I'm talking about
Okay,
how
so
you
there were a
literally
bunch
went
of
to go
weak
burn
alliances.
down
There were a bunch of-
regions,
dude.
which is exactly what Pappy's been doing for 9 months. And
Right,
then
let's
you're
go
saying
back
that you
9
didn't want to
shows.
do it
Let's go
with
back-
Pappy because you were bored of it. Yet
Well,
you're
let's go-
still doing it.
let's go back 9 shows, I guess, and let's go to this. Okay, so the problem with Dread Bomb membership is that they don't want to do large scale fleets anymore in
That
nullsec.
sounds like
okay?
a leadership issue
They
to
don't.
me.
Well,
That's a
I
member
mean,
issue.
dude,
What do you mean?
take it as it is, but people do not want to get into Munins and go shoot people in fucking nullsec and 10% tie-dye forever. Okay, so what happened was Pravi block fell. Awesome. Now there's a whole bunch of other people we can shoot. They happen to be aligned with Test, and they are weak, and they are there. And Dreadbomb was not a very.
But they are not there. They are deployed in a completely different
They were
region,
there.
doing
No.
something completely different.
The Watchmen were there, dude. The Watchmen were
No,
definitely
The
not
Watchmen
deployed.
were in Delve just like everybody else.
Of course.
Oh,
dude.
they
Of
were
course.
in Delve with like jump clones, dude. They were Delve cloned over
There
here.
were-
Are you gonna be offended that somebody shot you? Because this is still hilarious.
So Dreadbomb at this point
thing is,
had
though,
what?
Don, is that
500
nobody's
members.
offended.
500 members, Shauna?
Okay, shut.
No,
So
no, no,
nobody's
okay.
offended that
Don-
anybody's shooting anybody. Like the only interaction that I've had with Dreadbomb ever since they decided to leave the war was fucking murdering them in Scalding Pass or wherever. So like I'm completely content with Dreadbomb shooting me and me shooting Dreadbomb. That's fine with me. What I'm not content with is somebody saying that they were bored with content, so they decided to go do something that
wasn't
was
content.
infinitely more boring.
Okay, so
No. The Devil War wasn't content, and also Don,
If
what you're saying
you-
about them shooting us is they told us, hey, get dreads here. You're gonna come in. You're gonna be on Pappy's side. We're gonna shoot these dreads. You're
And
gonna be
then
in
they
the
shot our
coordination panels.
dreads.
And
they shot
then
our
they
fucking
had their
dreads.
CEOs of their corps just fucking shooting doomsdays at our dreads. That's what we're saying about getting shot.
I
We
was
don't care
like-
about getting shot by that, dude.
I was a
No,
fucking
no,
hero.
I'm saying that Test and them are offended that you shot them.
Yes,
I don't understand why anyone's offended by getting shot
I'm
by
not
someone
into
else.
that.
I understand if you're blue,
Everyone's
right? But, like,
very upset. How about this? If you deploy to a fucking
want-
war, shut up, Marius. And you, so if I'm running an alliance and I deploy my alliance to a fucking war and I have no backup plan for protecting my fucking space, shame on me, because I'm a bad fucking alliance leader and I deserve to be fucking purged.
That's not what we're talking about.
That is literally what you're talking about, Marius.
No,
I'm
what we're talking
Watchmen were
about
deployed. They had no
if,
ability to fucking fight back at all. Oh my god, it's so horrible. They were the biggest fucking crabbers
Why are
you'll
you
ever
putting
see.
so many words in my mouth? Can you not just
why
listen to the
Loki,
words that I'm
couldn't
saying
their
and then
alliance?
like
Yes,
talk
yes.
about what I'm
Loki.
saying instead of
Yes.
talking
Loki.
about
Yes,
things that are
Billy.
completely different?
Loki. What if I told you the
Jesus
defensive
Christ.
plan we had was some of our allies like Dreadbomb and Wrecking Crew to help support our rear?
Then I tell you that you did not offer them enough fucking pros in that equation for that to have eventually occurred. That's
Did they ever
what I would tell
ask
you.
for any? Or did they just start shooting our allies and refuse any offerings of
Billy, I can't
things?
speak to that because I was probably not even in Dreadbomb at this
But
point.
you were just speaking to it very definitively like a couple sentences ago. So as soon as the
Well,
emphasis is put on
right,
you,
so
it's not your decision. But you had rationalizations for it before Billy asked you that question.
look, I can't control how much ISK Billy was willing to give Dreadbomb or RC to preserve his fucking empire and
I
catch
was
and
never
otherwise.
asked because the whole time I was told, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a hand against initiative. Just time your stuff for U.S. time zone, so initiative can't touch it, and we can give you some help." And guess what? How did that work out for me?
Well, it doesn't seem like it worked out very well, Billy. So
No, it didn't.
So
And,
would you say that that
it
is like
what
a
it is.
betrayal of trust?
man,
It is what it is.
Loki is dumb sometimes. Is straw opponent in test? Question mark? Because I would assume that I'm gonna go 10-1 odds that he is in test.
Loki,
Anyway.
if Dreadbomb General was active, we'd be saying the same thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, for sure. But I mean, I don't think that the points I'm making are stupid. I think that the people who are listening to the chat might be a little bit ill-informed to
So
some
The
degree.
points that
Billy,
you're
like
making,
at the end of the
content.
so the
Hey, you're
points
I wanna
that you're
talking
explain
making
how Del
are not the
so
points for
Marius,
what's being
let's just
contested.
I literally said it and I'll say it again. Delve was content. Delve is content. Delve is not the kind of content that certain people in Dreadbomb or membership want to particularly engage in, and that was and that is actually a fact. That is actually a fact, and it's very difficult to get membership on board with things if like a large propensity of them do not want to actually do it. Then like leadership cannot necessarily say, "Hey, Let's go do this. If the president of the United States wants to change something, he needs people in his corner. He needs a large group of people to make demonstrations so that he can make change, right? The people are
So
actually really
again, to
important to
reiterate my
leading
point,
an alliance.
to reiterate the point that I'm making that you seem to refuse to like talk about in general, you want to talk about literally everything else that nobody's even talking about. You and when I say you, I don't mean you specifically. I mean your group, your coalition, alliance, whatever the fuck you want to call yourselves. These decided to pull out of an active conflict, citing that the membership were bored with the things that you were doing, and then proceed to do the exact same thing.
And then we proceeded to get content, Redline. We had some amazing fights. Okay,
Did you?
the
What
majority,
kind of
the
fights
majority
did
of
you
Dreadbomb
have
member base at that time was
in
X-Test,
Legacy
right?
space? What kind of fights did you
So
have in Legacy space
by
that
the same
actually
by the
It's some
same
merited being
amazing
called
fights.
by the
great
same thing,
content?
they were A in nullsec. You were correct. So when you say the same thing, I imagine that's what you mean, because they were not on a scale that you would get in Delve. There was no tie-dye. There were good fights. There was a series of fights. There were skirmishes, if you
So
will.
were they good
Actually,
fights because they were actually good fights, or were they good fights
There were good
because
fights
you
because there were no
dunked
tie-dye. It was
because
smaller
you
scale
dunked
fights, and we
some
were actually able to
randos
feel
that
like
were
we
left
mattered.
over in a region that
we would be
everyone
like
left?
there would be like 50 people against like a 200 or 150 man Voltron gang that would come in and defend an Athenor or
You're going to tell
whatever.
me that Voltron formed 200 people to defend that space?
Like a large amount of people, yeah.
They did a couple times, but then
Yeah.
Dreadbomb would bad phone, a couple hundred more. So.
Oh my god, the amount of crying is hilarious. Keep it
Who's
coming.
crying, Don? Why not
You are.
instead of
Like,
why not
why
instead of
did you
talking
bring-
about
why
crying,
did
why don't you bring up a valid point? Like, why don't you be useful instead of just
That's
all I hear.
Like your
spitting
whole
random bullshit every 30 seconds, huh?
and oh no, these legacy people are so butthurt about this whole. We're just having a discussion. But
No,
since
you're not. You're yelling at Loki about the
have
fact
nothing
that
to add
you
to this
guys
discussion,
fucking
you
made
just wanna
agreements and then
comment
didn't
on the fact
I
that you have
was
a position in
I
it.
was yelling at Shanna, to be honest. I wasn't yelling
Okay.
at Loki in the
Yeah,
beginning.
but Shanna,
But then
Shanna's,
Loki
Shanna's a
Shanna's
very
then Loki
Shanna's a
joined
very
and just started
Shanna's in
talking
Dreadbomb,
and
but
didn't stop. So
Shanna's a very easy person to yell at. I can yell at Shauna too if I want, right? Like, come on,
The
dude.
conversation that's being had here is wasting a lot of oxygen, and Loki. You're
okay,
speaking
Rich,
out of
then
turn.
fuck off. If you don't like the conversation, then don't be a part of it. Very simple.
Well, I believe had you stuck to whatever arrangements Billy had, you probably have more Titans right now, but we'll see in the future.
Yikes. Rich Richmond just owned your ass. No, but seriously, like if you want to talk about what Dreadbomb did, and I don't give a fuck who you guys shoot. I don't give a fuck what you guys do. I literally do not give a fuck about Dreadbomb, RC, that entire coalition. I don't care. You're about as relevant as I am in EVE Online, which is pretty nil, right? But here's the thing though. What I do care about is when you say one thing and then you say something that completely counters it in the next sentence and you don't recognize it.
Well,
That's why
when you say
I was
you and
talking
then when
no,
you
no,
say
no, I am
you and
saying
you mean
you
no, I'll talk
specifically
now.
this
When you
time.
say you and then you're talking to Loki, but then like when you say you and you also mean Shauna, like those are two completely different things. We're not the same fucking person.
Oh no,
Like
I
let's
understand that
be honest.
completely.
And only one of us is in Dreadbomb Command. Let's be honest about that. Okay, cool.
I don't really care
So
who is in Dreadbomb Command. I care who's saying the things
I
that
can get a fucking
I'm
NC
trying
dot
to
line member to
contest.
talk about what he thinks about shit, but nobody really cares at the end of the
I
day,
am an
does it?
NC.line member talking
This is
about
all
shit.
about line members talking about shit.
Well, Loki,
We're
there are line
literally,
members in
except
this
for
voice
Billy
channel,
here,
and
we're
you.
literally all just line members.
I'd be
Yeah.
really interested to see what some other random fucking line. Like, come on, dude. Like,
There's 11 people in this channel, and you're
Shauna-
speaking on. Well, you have the speaking power for 5 of them right now. Please,
Yeah,
few
we're-
words, Loki.
Well, guess what? You're
That's
well,
what
Rich. Sorry, dude. Like, so A is the English language. There are literally not less words that I can use to express my point. Secondly, we're talking about Dreadbomb specifically, and we are addressing Loki. So, what do you want me to do, Rich?
Well, use your arguments with fewer words. I think if you took Philly's deal,
Okay,
or
Rich.
if
Okay,
Dreadbomb
dude,
took
I have an
Philly's
idea.
deal, you could consider not speaking over me. But I think if Dreadbomb took Philly's deal or worked with Philly far better, rather than what things they pulled off, for the foreseeable future, they would probably have a better future. They probably have a few more Titans.
I see, Rich. I'm gonna talk over you
better
right there.
future.
So I had some test friends and they're like, "Yo, why did you pull out of the war? You guys should have stayed here. We were gonna give you like one of the cycles of Keepstar loot or some shit." So apparently they're like splitting who gets the loot for each thing. That would have gone to Wrecking Crew, not Dreadbomb. Like we wouldn't have benefited from that on a player basis, on an alliance basis. We're able to, because of leaving the war, we're able to have an entire rental empire that's paying for all of our fuel, all of our jump bridges, everything like that. We're able to have R64s, R32s. We're able to have
Titan SRP.
So
we've SRP'd one of our Titans. The other one's halfway SRP'd, I'm pretty sure.
So the argument was not, did you benefit from backstabbing?
No, he was saying if we stayed in the war, we would have benefited and we would have more Titans than we do now. And I'm saying that is completely false because we'd have more AFK members and we would have had a lot less fun.
No, not long term. And Rich, by the way, I can form my argument to 2 fucking words, dude. Fuck off.
Okay.
Like you would have
no, literally nobody on the internet is gonna tell me how and or what to fucking say. So fuck off, dude. Actually. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. We got that online. And I will speak over you because when I'm asked the fucking
no,
question,
you talk so much, dude. Calm down.
Jesus.
Yeah, like it's not when I'm asking questions, I'm not trying to direct this directly at you.
You're
But,
talking
like,
about Dreadbomb,
the thing
and
is,
you're
though,
doing it in
is
Instagram
that
matter, dude. Come on.
I mean, if you want to talk over people, that's fine, but please don't talk over me. Like that's just I'm trying really hard to get an answer to the question that I've asked a dozen times now that I literally for some reason I can't get an answer to because I've been linked one battle report in a league of like in something where it's tons of great fights. So I'm sure you can find more, and that's fine. But I would argue that most of the content that you guys got from destroying that legacy space was just, uncontested structure bashes, which is
entirely incorrect. Entirely incorrect. Entirely
okay.
incorrect.
So sure, well I'll go take a look at I'll individually go and take a look at all of the structures that you guys have killed, and I'll pull a related battle report for all of them and see which ones had fights and which ones didn't. I'll have a detailed spreadsheet on your desk by next week so that we can talk about this again.
We talked about this on the last show, dude. We lost a bunch of nightmares. And we wanted to know how that went. And literally what I said was, Seto thinks Dreadbomb is a EUTZ alliance. Did I not say that? We literally had this fucking conversation. It's like, to you, this is like new information or something. I don't really understand.
How does
like
that
maybe
relate
you're not
to what I'm
you're not
saying?
tracking it. You're not tracking it. But like we had an entire segment on this show. No, because we're fighting Fed Up and we're fighting Fire Coalition, who I believe to some extent might be Villy's allies. I hope they are, because if they're not, like I don't know what the fuck they're doing, because they're in their fucking space. We're fighting them, and guess what? We're losing to them actually quite consistently.
Now?
In EUTZ. And that's why I quite sarcastically said Seto thinks that we are an EUTZ alliance. So when you say, oh, like they've met some kind of like Dreadbomb is just some force that's just pushing the fucking all of Catch completely and there's no one to stop them, like fuck you, dude. Dreadbomb is a 900-man fucking alliance. Like if you guys wanted, like we put down 4 desires in front of Keepstars, right? That was met with quite a pappy force. And we talked about that on the show as well. So, I mean, I don't really know what you want me to say, dude. Like, we take fights where we can get them. We actually lose quite a bit in doing
I want
so.
you to stick to like the point that I'm trying to make here.
I'm not going to stick to your point, dude.
You traded well, I mean that would be nice because then it would be less, just random topics and random tangents based on what I'm saying. Because what I'm trying to say is that you literally said that you didn't want to paint anymore, and then you went to go paint in another room.
Okay, so the PvP alliance that doesn't want to do it in max tie-dye in nullsec for a specific, very large group of people are like not allowed to PvP anymore. That's what you're saying.
Get max tie-dye on normal bashes, and what you were just complaining about.
I do have a question.
On
Was this
normal
the
bashes.
FWSTS Keepstars that made you cry, or was it a different one?
We have we have almost never really bashed. Like we don't really bash all that much.
Dude, we tried to bash a
we haven't-
K-Star and didn't
we ha-
realize that structure fucking
I
grams
need
existed,
you-
so we lost all
I
our
need
super fighters.
so desperately for you.
honestly,
I need you to
Dread-
remove the word "cry" from your dictionary, from your entire
Maris,
vocabulary.
I need you to just shut the fuck up, dude. Like we actually haven't been that big of a part in what's gone on. Actually, like if you look at it, we really haven't been that big of a part at all. We have not really structure bashed almost at all. And most of the structure bash fleets I have led, if we're going to be honest about it. And that's like a couple of faction Fortizars that were uncontested. And then yeah, there was some like where we showed up and then it was there, I suppose. But like at the end of the day, our membership are not consistently just bashing structure. Like this is not happening. We're not like relentlessly killing structures. I don't know what you have been told, but that is not the case.
I
We're
haven't been told
mostly
anything, that's why
interested.
I'm asking
We're
questions.
mostly interested in good fights, in low or non-existent tie-dye. And that's what we've always been. And I've said that consistently for the last fucking like 10 weeks.
Dude, 30% tie-dye is actually pretty fun. You're actually able to like multi-box all your Logi alts effectively. I find myself being able to do like a Nightmare, 2 Simus, and a Dictor, and 30% tie-dye just very reliably.
And see, here's the thing though, you could have
So fun.
10% tie-dye if you
I
wouldn't
could have
left.
10% tie-dye. I want to kill
Do you
myself.
know how
yeah.
much you could multi-box in 10% tie-dye?
Actually, a lot less because my computer just shuts itself for some reason.
Yeah, and your
Oh.
modules
Well,
don't
Shanna,
Hi, Rich.
best of luck on the 9UI Fortizar, the Angry.
Yeah, dude.
I'm disappointed in you, that's all.
If I pull the Colombe out right now, it'll destroy 221 pods, and I'll do that for 500 mil to Shanna Alabal's wallet.
Okay, let me
Really?
log in real quick because
Dude,
I will 100%.
planning on
Oh, wait, 1 bill.
No, you said
Do what you
500
want.
mil.
You said
Planning
live on
500 million. You
stream.
don't get to change
10
it.
whoa, 10 bill, Shona? Is it 10 bill?
No,
I think
1
that's
bill,
the
1
new
bill.
number.
Wait, are we talking about the black market in 9UI?
Yes, Shanna
I have
will
a fucking
abandon
problem.
the black market and
Yeah.
abandon it.
So
And
Damn
you need
right.
to steal all the items there. Well, best of luck extracting everything in there with all the help you will need and you'll get. Well, have fun with that. I'm just disappointed in you, Shannon. There's not really much else.
I wanted a way to make ISK. I took out like a 10 bill loan from a friend. I got the other 20 bill. I bought it, for a very reasonable price.
Can I? Yeah. Can we actually
a
talk about
common
Shauna?
theme.
Shauna, can we talk about that, please? Because there has been an extraordinary amount of which is actually really funny. An extraordinary amount of talking, Reddit, Jabber, all kinds of shit. TIS was covering it. You are the man behind all the evil that is happening in Providence right now. Do you care to actually talk about that? Yeah, but let's talk about what that actually what that is, because
I mean,
it sounds like you're some megalomaniac that is like single-handedly going to ruin the game or something. It's amazing. Let's talk about that.
I don't remember how many months ago it was, but there was just like dudes just reshipping sabers 2 jumps from where we had Rorquals. It was a big fight, and they were just getting them off there. And I was like, you know what? Can I just buy this and abandon it? And I said that as a meme at the time. And then during the SOTA or State of the Coalition, SOTC, whatever the fuck it is, I just like jokingly said, yo, can I buy it? He reached out to me because apparently there's a big conspiracy that RC is strong-arming Noir into being forced to sell, or else they're going to reset them and kill all their structures or something. And I reached out. He said a reasonable price, which counted the rig price. And I said, I'm going to make that back from killing it. So, yeah.
I was literally there for every step of this as well, which was not intentional, but it just kind of happened to be. So there is a Freeport Fortizar, for those who don't know, there was a Freeport Fortizar in 9UI that people who wanted to attack our works and attack, things that are going on in Provi would use to literally, try to hurt us. So eventually that, ceased to be a thing. And Shauna was like, well, if we're going to blow it up, can I buy it from you and give you X price and just blow it up myself? And like, technically I own all these things, which is honestly a very entrepreneurial thing to do. And yeah, the agreement was made. And so
yeah, dude, I'm a young CEO. I have 2 corporations to my name.
There you go. So that is what's going to kind of happen. And I know there's been a lot of crying going on about this. And We can defend that if actually
That
anyone
is
wants to contest it.
scandalous, dude.
Otherwise,
That is scandalous.
But why is it? It's not really scandalous though. So.
That's nice,
fucking
Loki. But
scandalous.
that's nice, Loki. But I'd like to talk to the person who's actually doing it. I believe you've spoken far more than him, Shanna. I understand
Yeah.
that you are currently looking for ISK and you'll be abandoning it for. I think you'll get quite a good amount should you be able to secure it with all 9
hopefully.
exits that you need to keep locked down. Otherwise, people may flood in. This is, well, it is a way to make money, but given its Freeport status and just how it is, I'm just quite disappointed. I've said this about 3 times now, but we'll do one final time. Now, you mentioned something about people offered abandoned, what was it, keep stars to you earlier. Who did that?
Huh? Oh,
You said,
if I could have bought an abandoned Keepstar, I would have done that. I've never had that much.
Who was it that offered you that abandoned thing earlier? You mentioned
the ERVK fort.
The ERVK fort is already been. That's old news.
That was Billy selling it, and then they didn't work out the whole arrangement, and
it's
blah 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 blah.
I'd say it's a bit of a dirty move. I think Dread Bomb.
Why? Why? No. Let's qualify that. Why is it a dirty move?
He sold it in full knowledge that I was going to abandon it.
Explain to me, Rich, why that is a dirty move. Let's go. Like actually.
You sell somebody your car and you leave behind your wallet. Just because you left behind, say, your wallet in your car doesn't mean the person who purchased it has any right to, well, especially if it's, say, somebody you think is a friend that purchased it, has any right to start, doing card fraud using the car that you left in your car.
So A, who sold it to RC? And then B, so presumably Noir sold it to RC. So they assume that everything would be in good faith. And then B, you assume that everyone in Eve is out for your best interests. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm talking to Shanna in regards to the ERVK example. As for the 9UI example, it's a shame that it's happened, and I'm still trying to figure out whether or not Noir was complicit or not.
But why was it a shame? Rich? Why is this a shame?
I don't understand that matters. Also, so good.
Loki, please let Shanna talk. He's the one that did the deal, not you. Go ahead.
So just for a thing, I've been watching the fort grid from pretty much 10 a.m. my time till 10 p.m. my time. I just have it open in another window. There's been like 3 people who have jump cloned stuff out. I've made it openly clear that if you need to get a pod out, I'll let people get pods out, all that stuff. I don't think that I'm scamming anyone over. If people are getting scammed over, it's the insanely AFK people, and that's too bad for them. I don't think they're going to come back and go, oh no, 10 bill at most. I also don't think I'm going to get a lot of those. I know there's going to be people, there's going to be fleets of occupators and all that bullshit looting the structure, and I'll do the best I can to kill them, but I know in the end I'm probably going to lose like 20-30% of all of it just from people looting it and then getting killed.
But it's funny.
Can I get something out of it? Because I got something in there, and I don't have jump clone
Well,
access.
guess what? You could probably fucking.
You need to get a jump
contact,
dude. Give you ACLs, you get the jump clone out, and then you go and scepter on out.
By the way, Redline,
Like I
I
said, I
just
don't have
noticed
jump clone access.
you've got the Yi Claw thing at the bottom of
You
the
get jump clone access because I give you ACL to jump clone out.
It's been dancing at the bottom of the stream.
I know.
for
I
the
just noticed
entire
it
show.
now. I haven't been looking at the show.
It's for Blazing Bunny.
It's
Kind
so
of incredible.
Cute.
It's kind of amazing.
It's amazing.
So a few things though, like so Sean has been very upfront about what's actually going to happen. It's been pinged up multiple times across all of RC, which then result into a Reddit post. So anyone who's really paying attention to anything should more than likely know that that is what's going to happen. Secondly, you have your inventory list, which will show you what's going to happen. You'll be able to asset safety shit. Thirdly, I love this argument because it's massively asinine. If I were to quit the game or say go AFK for a large amount of time, what I would probably do is liquidate most of my assets, and I would have that either in ISK or to have that in Plex more than likely. At the end of the day, I would probably take everything I own, sell it, and I have a bunch of ISK, and I might want to hedge my bets, buy a bunch of Plex, right? Because Plex never goes down, except in the last 6 months, Plex has gone down substantially, massively actually. So if that's the case, then where was all of this player outcry for AFK people 6 months ago when CCP
It was-
basically like
It was
completely
on this show, actually. Rich had the same opinions of the Citadel, the abandonment change in general.
No, not the abandonment
Other
change.
people had
No, not the abandonment change. The abandonment change is literally I go AFK and I don't take care of my shit. Okay, and
Sure,
sometimes yes, maybe that's
the
for
fucking
IRL
thing
reasons.
that you're fucking talking about. That's the
Correct.
change that was
Right.
implemented.
So Redline, if I were to, you need to listen to what I'm saying. If I were to go AFK, I would take all of my assets. I would sell them. I would have a bunch of ISK. I would hedge my bets, and I would probably take half of that and put in Duplex at least. That's the way that we did things for the last 18 years. And currently, Plex has plummeted.
No, people
So if
haven't done that. People just left their shit, came back, fire sailed it, or got it out of asset safety. That's how it's been since last year.
So who's to say? So why is Shauna a bad guy? At the end of the day, like who gives a shit? If there's a bunch of stuff to take and to refine, or to take and to harvest, or to kill, or whatever, like who's to say? Like I don't understand why at the end of the day RC is like a bad group even for doing this in any fucking extent. Like at any point, like this doesn't really even make that much sense.
I think you would know why people think that way if you just kept quiet for a bit and let people voice their opinions. I think RC is a young alliance with some very young leadership. While they may be talented in, say, commanding, they...
Do you mean Dreadbomb?
Sorry, Dreadbomb. You're correct. It's I get them mistaken. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Now, I think Dreadbomb is a young alliance with some very young leadership and very, very inexperienced leadership, particularly politically speaking. And reputation does matter in EVE, and I think right now Dreadbomb does not have the most stellar reputation, and Shanna, nor do you, in the next coming weeks.
Well, let's not reputation. Snuffed Out has baxed out everybody they worked with, and yet they still get people to come help them out. So reputation doesn't seem to matter at all.
I trust.
Real quick to Drakenhoff.
Rich, how long have you been in the game currently?
2
I don't care about the structure being
2 years. So you're
pre-coded.
rather.
I want ISK. That's why I'm killing it.
2 years.
Rich is a rather young commentator to be on this show, don't you think? Like, if we want to start putting ages on things, then we can start making random claims about people. Come on, dude.
Bro. Yeah, talking shit, and you don't even fucking. You're not even part of this alliance, bro. You don't understand. Bro. Fucking retarded, bro.
Sure, and I
can't say that word on the show.
Sorry,
and at one point, I was offered a vouch into Dreadbomb, but we'll set that aside and.
Apologize.
It's not to say you're not a good player and that you shouldn't be offered a vouch into anywhere, dude. Like that's not what I'm saying. The thing is like you're commenting on the age of our leadership and the age of our decision-making abilities. Okay. At the end of the day, this is a mechanic in a sandbox.
Okay? So let's talk about that mechanic for a second. Your point about the mechanic though is that I would plan out how I would do this and I would get all my assets. But like if you fall down the fucking stairs tonight, how the fuck are you gonna do that? There are some people who are gone, and so people's version of how they leave the game is actually irrelevant. If you happen to plan out, great. But for a lot of people, they don't have that opportunity to plan out for 1,000 fucking reasons.
Right. So if I fell down the stairs and it prevented me from doing anything like this at all, and I was out of the game for a very extended period of time, I don't think I really give a shit about what's going on in EVE Online right now. Okay. Unfortunately, like CCP has not left us the room to begin to triage our feelings and what we think about people and all this stuff. No, these people have just left the game or are just not paying attention. And those people, honestly, deserve to lose ships, in my opinion.
Well, I would be quite unhappy if I lost my progress. I would prefer to play another game where I wouldn't.
Then why is your progress in a station that is going offline, Rich? Why do you put all your progress in that particular place? Come on.
I would say so if you ceased interrupting me.
Well, are you
going to say so?
Go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
There's plenty of games that don't put the game before your real life, and sometimes I want to put my real life before the game. So to have these kind of changes, it's not ideal. As for the trust between trusting Snuffed Out, I would rather trust Snuffed Out structures, including the affiliated and operated Space Detroit, over Dreadbomb any day.
Oh, really? Well, as Shadow Cartel, how they feel about snuffed out, dude, and see how that
I'm
goes.
just saying
Would
that,
you
like,
lose
directly
a
right
super for
now,
those people?
I'm helping him. Fuck, I don't know what your name is on stream. I'm helping him extract the pod right now. You know, like, there's no hard feelings for me to anyone with the pod in here because at the end of the day, that doesn't drop stuff. If people are not AFK, if they're AFK right now and can't log in right now, that means that they been AFK for that last year where abandoned structures have existed, and if so, like, why would you leave something in there? I don't know.
Well, best of luck with it, Shanna. And I've voiced my concerns of the Citadels, and so have many others.
I don't like
I believe TikTok has, and I believe David Zeta has. A lot of veteran players who've lost a lot of far more items than I have and killed far more things than I have all voiced their concerns. The impact of the removal of asset safety on AFK players is, I'd say, detrimental for the long-term health of the game.
Be fine. Don't worry about it.
So
I feel like CCP, you should be able to petition them through their website and just be like, hey, these are all my accounts. You can see I've paid for all of them using the same card, blah, blah, blah. Move all my stuff into asset safety. Like, I've got something going on. I think you should be able to do that at no fee. You would just go. And I know that'll be exploited. And honestly, if 5 people exploited to get their Titans out and don't have to pay the 15%, who really cares? It'd be a lot better for the game if you're able to do that.
Hey, Shanna, real quick. So that offer for 500 mil to pull the clone base on the table, right?
Okay, can I make it 1 bill? 500 mil is way too little.
No, you already said 500 mil.
It's no longer on the table.
Huh?
It's no longer on the table at 500 mil. I'll do it for a bill after Marius gets his pot up.
Sure, Doodle.
Wait,
I have
where's-
nothing in that station. I
What-
have
what
moved
structure
my
is that?
no-grade snakes.
What structure is that?
UI, the black market, which is now called 9UI in honor of Rich Richmond.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm gonna send you a bill right now, and you're gonna yank that, including Marius's clone. Yes?
No, don't scam Marius.
Do it. Do it.
How about this? How about this? Good disclaimer. If you leave anything in random fucking Fortizars in random null space, you're stupid, and you need to move that shit now, or you're gonna lose it all eventually. How about that? That's a great disclaimer.
This goes all the way back though of when they brought in abandonment, because before that it was leave your shit anywhere. This is EVE Online. Shit happens. Just leave your stuff. You'll get it eventually.
That was like a year ago, right? Like we've probably
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point,
but people
someone's
before
looked
that
through
point,
an
right?
inventory list. Yeah, I mean, sure, but I mean, we're gonna be angry for like a bunch of people made a bunch of money, as I recall it, because there was a bunch of abandoned structures. We cleaned all those structures up. A bunch of people, including CCP Swift, made a bunch of money, right? As I recall.
Yeah.
Everybody was super happy with that. Okay, cool. Now there's one more abandoned structure, and everyone's very angry. It's very interesting.
No,
To be fair,
not
the
a
structure
bunch of
was
people
under
were.
like a corp that was like, hey, we're gonna keep this free port, and then they didn't keep it free
Yeah,
port.
but shit happens. This is EVE.
Well,
So
yeah,
if I
don't leave your
recall-
shit in a fucking free port. Like, come on.
If I
Sorry,
recall that there used to be outposts where people could conquer them and you could not get your stuff.
Yeah, but you can
ever.
fire sale it. You can fire sale it.
Okay, well.
Or
Fire sale
AFK
this?
it,
Zero
and
risk?
You can
give
asset
you-
save until
you
it
throw all
goes
your shit
abandoned.
carrier
You can
jump
asset save to your stuff.
The fort is currently full power. None of the stuff is off. You can extract your stuff into asset safety. You can sell it, whatever you want.
And we're talking about it on a ship.
Except for the clone bay. The clone bay.
Clone
should-
bay, which is
the
going
clone bay
down.
should be off because I'm gonna send you $1 billion and you have to turn it off.
I will turn it off after Marius gets his pot out.
Okay.
So-
So it's the offer is 500 million then.
If you
Because
Oh.
if you're not gonna kill Marius's pod, then it's not worth it to
The
me.
thing is, I don't want to fuck people over. I want to steal their stuff. I don't want to steal their pots. I got nothing out of that.
Okay.
If you have a clone
Gotcha.
in a random Fortizar someplace that you do not control or your alliance does not control, you're
By the way,
stupid.
what pod is
That's
it?
your
Is it
version of the game.
That is literally that is literally how I need to play the game in order not to lose a bunch of shit, given the mechanics of the sandbox, Rundle. Okay, this is not. We're not deciding
Today,
what the fucking.
right. So I think the problem is that many years ago that wasn't the way it was, and
1
many
year ago.
people
1
left
year
shit
ago.
there.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, and what
Like
happened,
that-
Rundle? What happened there? What happened though? You would be in fucking, I don't know, Delve, and then the goons took it. Oh, literally 100% of my assets are irredeemable. I can't take them out, and I can't get them. right?
Yeah.
Is that not how the
You
game
can
used to
sell
be?
them. Oh my god.
I'm just talking. What I'm talking about is this one station. But there are many stations in Eve. If this is a thing that is okay to do, there's many stations in Eve where people left stuff, and at the time it was going to be okay. It was going to be asset safety regardless. And now the rules changed, and they're still not back. And they left under one set of rules and one pretense, and they don't have the options you're telling them to fucking man up and deal with.
So no, they do, because before you fucking leave, you move that shit. Now, obviously, there are people
Again,
who
for
are not going to
thousands of
have
reasons who don't have
those
that option.
options, right? And how many people do those equate to? Maybe those are numbers you should bring to CCP's attention to change something, but don't be mad at Shauna for capitalizing on some kind of fucking opportunity that is
shitty
a
behavior.
mechanic.
Shitty behavior. I don't care what you want to do and why you want to fucking justify it. Shitty behavior. Shitty behavior. Period.
You guys are literally missing
And
the
if
fact
you
that
want
we
to say it's okay to have shitty behavior in the game, then just fucking
It's
toll
Eve
up and
Online.
say it.
We are the bad guys.
Then just say it. Then just say it.
Everyone is the bad guy, Rundle.
Then
Okay.
just say
I
it.
wouldn't really worry about
Don't
it.
hide behind other pretenses and other bullshit. Just say, hey,
Rundle,
you know, it's
Rundle,
shitty behavior, and we're okay with it.
Rundle, why do you work? Why do you work for a living?
Speaking of shitty behavior,
What's
I'm
that
going to
gotta do with
take the
Are
night
you
off
incentivized
while
to make
Loki
money?
speaks over everybody else and
Rich,
takes up half this.
Rich, we're
show.
still having a fucking conversation.
You
dude. Come on.
literally jumped. Okay, yeah. See, so that's Rich Richmond losing his ability to just pop into this channel like that. Because there's one thing that annoys me more than anything, and it's people just thinking that they can just come in here and do and say whatever they want to whenever they want to say it. Like, it's an open platform, but if you're just gonna come in here and say the same shit over and over again, you can just not, honestly. So, Rich, if you're still watching, I'm right clicking, removing your ability to jump in this channel. You can come in when we let you in from this point forward. Thanks. Anyways,
At
shitty
least you didn't talk
behavior
about bots.
is shitty behavior. Yes, that is true. And this is EVE Online, which is full of shitty behavior,
Right.
which is also true. But here's the thing, right? And this is why I'm mad at Shanna, okay? It's not because Shanna's gonna let the structure go abandoned. It's because Shanna won't fucking let me pay him to fuck people over.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to.
That why you mad
I'm
the whole
okay with
time?
taking people's assets, right? If I don't kill this thing, then someone else will, because there's no way I'm selling this back to anybody, right? I'll just pull a few out.
Dude, I need you to tell me point blank that if I pay you 500 mil right now, that you will shut off that clone bay today, within the hour.
I'm saying no. Sorry.
Okay, so now we're gonna go back to talking about how Dreadbomb is a backstabbing, lying alliance because you said you would do that earlier, and now we're coming full circle, and you are full of
I'm
shit.
sorry. I got a DM that said if you do that, you're pulled ACLs. Okay.
Oh.
So I like being able to dock, and being able to dock is a lot better than me killing 209 pods.
So you're being strong armed, just like Dreadbomb strong arming Noir.
You
see, so we're full circle. We're coming full circle to everything. It's all looping back around. And see, this is how you connect narratives. Don, take notes. This is how you connect
What?
narratives. Exactly.
I've
You
had
don't
like
even
2 bourbons, okay?
2 whole bourbons.
2 bourbons.
Don, why do
Listen.
you sound like you're dying?
Street?
I've been eating chicken wings.
I've had 2 bourbons and 7 chicken wings.
1 chicken wing. Anyways, I
Speaking
don't know
of
why
the
we're whining
ability to
about
dock
this.
and stations.
Sounds like a
How
wicked
about them
witch
keep stars?
Yeah,
There's
so
no-
let's
We're talking
done
about
with that.
stars. Like, there's nothing to talk about. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't want to talk about the war. It's so boring.
It is fucking boring. I've been waiting.
So why don't you just leave then? If it's boring, why don't you just leave?
According to you guys, I don't have a pathway out.
Yeah, apparently if
Yeah,
you
you
find
do. I just called
Apparently if you
Australia
find
to
boring,
jump the
No,
so-
I'm
you were-
trapped.
You were so adamant 2 weeks ago that it doesn't matter. You have ways out. You have all sorts of ways to get your shit out. Don't
That's
worry.
it.
Rundle,
You
I'm
go.
so trapped in Delve. I can't go anywhere or do anything
poor
and
Don.
kill people. Oh wait, I'm watching Test, which is hilarious. Who said they could live under goon influence no problem by themselves, right? I'm watching them mine R64s and Ventures and a mining boosting stork because they're so scared of us dropping on them, and we still drop on them and still kill them, which is hilarious.
Okay, so you've literally killed like 2 Rorquals in Delve, and it's like you're talking like you're doing it every single day.
Like your own
Killing shit.
Come on, Don.
I got
Dude,
my
Come
eye on
on,
some
Killed
targets.
like 4 Proteros today. They're killing us, man.
I'm sorry, I've been here. I haven't been with my boys.
You haven't been with your boys killing the Rorquals? Okay,
They're not
so,
using Rorquals in Delve because they won't. Every
so
time they
anyways,
try to, we kill them.
So like here's the thing, Don. Like if you want this all to be over, then there's a very quick path to ending it. Just leave. Like, I'm certain. I'm certain that if there was a channel of communication opened between certain leaders of the Goonswarm Federation and our friend Villy here, that safe passage could be bartered for. That
There's
you
even a
could
faster way, right? There's even a
Not at
faster way.
all.
We've just confirmed there's a faster way. Put all the stations, and all the citadels into abandoned,
Could
blow
you
them the
imagine?
fuck up, loot the shit, and hightail on out of there.
Could you imagine if we did send the first Imperial Palace into abandonment? How much would be in there?
We just have to have like a bubbles in every
It'd be,
direction.
it
Can't
would
get
be
fuel.
trillions. It'd be like almost hundreds of trillions. Like I guarantee we get over 100 trillion
And
minimum.
see,
Line
that
up the
is what
jump freighters
makes
and
us
get to work.
so excited to kill those keep stars, is because that's
Don't
gonna be
get
a
any of that. They
lot
won't
of
get any
that's
of that.
going
drop
to
anything.
be
None of that.
You guys are dumb as fuck. I swear to God, there has never been a moment in my life where I would wish people would just shut the fuck up for 3 seconds and let me finish a thought. Because I swear to God, I said that I'm gonna say that we are so excited to kill it because of the asset safety bill. I'm not stupid. I know this shit's not gonna drop unless it's abandoned. Why are you guys so adamant to jump on random
Which is
points before
asset
they're
safety
finished
for a fan.
tonight? God damn it! God damn it, Elizabeth!
If 15%'s the bill I gotta pay to not have to move my shit, I'm okay with that.
But imagine 15% of hundreds of trillions, or
But most of
let's
that's from people who
100
don't even
trillion.
play this game anymore, so most people aren't gonna pay that anyways.
Well, think about
That's
but if you
15
guys
trillion isk right there.
if you guys
It's probably 85 trillion at minimum of people that just are AFK.
if you guys destroyed everything though, right? Like
If I
then
lose
they'd
my
have to pay it
Titan,
anyway. No, they'd have to pay it anyway. Like if you just let Pappy kill the main 1D keep star, end of story. Like you're still
So-
paying that anyway. So like why not just pay it now? That's a
so
good
the
question.
plan is if we lose our Titans and our Supers, then we don't have to pay an asset safety bill because they'll be dead.
Yeah, but that's stupid. Like why not just asset safety everything and then emerge from low sec all at once, like in some weird fucking like I don't know.
Orgy of ships spewing from the Ermelin station. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
like
they don't have that type
a
of
real fleet and
organizational
everybody
prowess.
come on, it's the Goons. If somebody has it in the game, it's gonna be them, right? Come on.
Orgy.
No, not an orgy.
The problem is
Fucking
I only have
organization organization to do something. Jesus.
I only have one super pilot. I have another pilot that can like sit and stuff. So really, I do need some ships to die at some point because I can't fly at all.
Okay, well then encourage your FCs to undock and fight more.
We're waiting for you. We already told you guys.
Oh
like,
my
alright,
God, it's been
Don,
fucking 10
Don,
months
asset safety
of
and
waiting
I
for
will buy it
us.
from you.
You'll pay my asset safety bill. I
I
don't
will
have a very high bill.
I said I would buy it from you. Don't worry about it.
No,
We'll,
I'm
What
not
super is it? Is it
that's against-
male?
That's
Do you have
against
any
the
AOs?
rules. I can't sell supers to non-blue people.
You can eject it
You are
and then
not
actually
blue.
have X drop.
But I know how you could be
All
blue.
right,
Lou.
Villy. I have to
Oh.
ask you, Villy, how much longer until we start to break into 1DQ? What are your estimates? We've got what, 3 keep stars left outside of the constellation right now?
Yep, so we've got 3 keep stars to go. We've got PUIG, OTAC H, and PS TAC. 2 of those to die in a few days, and PS TAC start dying within, I think, the week.
We
There's
bash the
approximately
sheet.
12 Fortizars left in Delph, I believe, 3 Sotios and 2 faction forts on top of that. We'll probably clean those up within a week or 2, and we'll start cracking on Delve shortly afterward, to be my guest.
Finally. Move on. Do something else.
Oh my God, Don, you can't say finally when
I
we've been
certainly
here.
did. I say
When we've
it?
been
I
here
fucking
for
said it.
so long, waiting for you guys to do something.
You
You
have
had
prevented every opportunity for us to have a somewhat reasonable or even or fun fight. You've made it so impossible and hard to try and fight, and then complain about the fact that you created a scenario where you will win 99% of the time.
Lying
So
about
I don't want to hear it.
fights.
You
That was
guys
the goal.
have a great strategy. It works just fine, and we're going to use it against you guys just out of spite.
What
Don,
happened
that's
to us crying about not getting the kinds of content
I don't
we
care.
did and having our
I'm not even playing fucking Eve most of the time. I log in when I need to, but I'm usually playing Pokemon. I'm playing Pokemon right now. I've been playing Pokemon for 4 hours today. Like most of us just play
Dawn,
other
you're not
stuff
supposed to
and then come
admit
back.
that. You're supposed to say that we're
Oh,
having no
sorry.
effect on you
You're
guys.
right. You're right. Sorry. Hold on. Let me. You're right. Got to get the narrative right. I've been playing Eve like I mean, don't get me wrong here. I fucking mined this weekend just to do it, but subcat mining sucks dick. And if they want us to go to that, oh
I mean,
God.
even Brisk has admitted that he's bored, like, and he's asked Pappy to do things on the meta show, which I found
just
really funny. Like when Don's supposed to be acting all straight and narrow and whatever, and like
No one tells me how to act on the show, by the way. This is all
no,
just
Hell yeah.
for sure. But I mean, like, but Brisk was literally asking, like, begging Pappy, like, we're bored, we need more shit to do,
So
for like a whole like segment. It was weird.
and here's where the narratives they circle around, and this is what's so beautiful about EVE Online and makes you just want to choke punch most of you.
you're not gonna get nothing.
The what's happening now is that there's comments and there's going to continue to be comments about how Pappy blued the whole universe, and that's what it took when we literally spent an hour arguing with Loki and Shanna about a group that's not blue to Pappy.
Oh no, one group that was blue at the beginning of the war and decided that
Yeah,
you guys
but
were boring
that's
pieces of
not
shit to deal with and
that's
left.
not the
Can I
whole
And then kicked
universe though,
Brave's
is it?
ass, as well as
That's
other
not the
people in Faithless,
whole
and then left, and
universe,
they had
is
to
it?
leave because they
Can
couldn't
I
handle a single 900-man alliance.
can
No,
I
no,
can
Loki,
I
you
can I
cannot.
please? It'll be unbiased, I promise.
No, you're not allowed.
All right, fine.
See, we just
Listen,
no, just no.
you know what? I look forward to
What, Don?
whatever
What?
happens next. I look forward to. I would love to try and mine in Lowsec as a new thing to do. Not being bubbled would be fun, but I don't. Like who knows what's going to happen because we got to wait for what another 6 months for CCP Rattati to figure out or to finish his grand vision of Eve. So it's kind of like why put roots down anywhere until we know what's going to happen. So a lot of us are just kind of like holding everything to our chest and waiting because we don't know what's going to happen. So
So
why
is
commit
it
to anything?
that you don't know what's gonna happen, or that you really don't have any place to put down roots right now?
I could, you know what? Kavala Expanse sounds great. Maybe we'll just go over there.
I dare you.
Over.
I
I would
dare you.
love.
I
Do you think you
double,
could?
triple
No.
dog
Do you
fucking
think
dare you to
P
show up in
Horde alone
TKE
can
again.
fight us? Because I know they can't. If it's just P Horde with even NC and PL jumping in with their one fleet trying to be relevant,
In
we
what
can still kick
world?
their ass.
In what world do you live in?
Pandemic Horde before the war kicked the shit out of you guys.
Didn't they
Now,
kicked the shit out of a SIG?
that
It was
was
only maybe a 10% of the alliance.
no, I was at a lot of those actually because I was
And
still
I
in
was there too in a Zarmaz tanking entire two Eagle fleets.
I was in a
In
friggin'
those
laughing my fucking ass off because Mike Flood had whelped yet again. There were multiple Goon Swarm or Imperium
And
fleets
like
on
where
field,
Kosachek
and
and
literally
Joey
just
Archer warped to the Astro House and got almost the entire fleet bubbled and almost all of us killed. Yeah, I remember this too.
literally just Alpha Star Pilot and a hope and a dream and a bunch of Eagles, and holy fuck, dude.
I remember there was
It was
way more than
glorious. It was actually glorious. No, I mean it was actually pretty funny, but that's because I mean the Imperium was kind of on a very close to downward spiral. There were not a lot of FCs. A lot of FCs had left. A lot of they had pushed a lot of them out.
I don't know what you mean by pushed out versus the game's so boring.
Well,
And
Pittsburgh, who is by far probably the best FC, the best subcap FC that
Pittsburgh's also
I've seen
super
since Elo, and I've been in the game for a long time. I mean, Pittsburgh's a hell of a fucking FC. He got kicked out, and then Thomas Lear left, and a whole bunch of other dudes left,
so
and then all of a sudden, like Mike Flood,
Kanan.
who is
Don't forget the
Kanan.
legendary Redline 13.
No,
Right.
I'm sorry. Wait, no, this is sorry. You left, and then all of this stuff happened. Come on, dude.
He knows the actual story of what happened.
He paved the way. He paved the way.
Let's
Redline paved the way.
here, right?
I mean,
I
no,
did.
but Redline obviously left because there were a series of issues, right? Like, and we can say, well, maybe that's a Redline 13 specific issue, but I could make the argument. So Loki gets to talk now because I'm talking anti-Imperium. That that whole thing is all bundled together in a series of dysfunction from the leadership down. All right, and I really believe that that's probably what happened. Now, ironically, what happened after that was that I think Villy and Pappy sensed weakness. They formed a coalition together. Now, to be completely objective, Pappy formed a coalition to beat you. When you say, oh, they formed 3/4 of the game against us, they literally needed to form 3/4 of the game to beat you. Okay, like it's not an insulting thing.
We
right?
win no matter what.
Because
Either
because
we
you guys
won
had
and you had to leave, or B, it took everybody to beat us, and you still can't kill us. So it doesn't matter what you
well,
do.
I will be the first to admit to say that that the Goonswarm Federation, as much as I want to fucking kill myself for saying it, has been the most successful alliance in the history of EVE, and it's true. On multiple, like there was a casino war to kill you, and yet still you persisted, and Delve became your place. And guess what? It's highly defensible. It was a really intelligent idea, and it's kind of insane because you built. Well, I mean, not right now, but generally it's a very defensible region, which is why they chose it. And they undertook, like, honestly, the greatest, like, I don't know, crabbing fucking thing that you could possibly do in the game. And they came out with like a whole bunch of Titans, and they went to X47 and they destroyed like
Didn't
Pan
they
Pan.
pick?
Like, it was
Didn't they pick
amazing.
Delve because after World War B1, there was like literally nowhere else to go.
It was the best.
I mean, yes,
region
that
to
is
go
true.
to out of all the options available. Also,
Well,
my cat says hi. So
if you remember from that, Goonswarm and its allies, so the Clusterfuck Coalition, was spread across multiple regions, right? And they quickly fell one by one by one. And there's casino money involved and all this other shit. So eventually, the Mittani decided, we're going to go back to Delve. They were not currently in Delve at that point. They went back to Delve because it's a highly defensible region, and they very quietly crabbed away for multiple years. And honestly, like, I remember this very well. I did not consider Goonswarm Federation. In my mind, Goonswarm Federation was not a thing. It was not a thought that I thought about for like a good 2 years. And they were amazing 2 years because I never had to think about the fucking goons. And then one day it's like, oh, the goons might actually be a problem. And then everybody kind of like perked up a little bit, and we let them persist for like another 3 years. And they grew into, like, you literally look at the fucking the MREs and sorry, anyway.
Wait, so this is Marius's
MERs.
cue. Marius, pull up the MER from 2020. Come on.
yeah, give me that one.
This is your cue, dude.
That's when I still had moons I cared about.
I already gave you the figures, so I don't know what you want.
Thank you. Well, that part of that was me. So
And
yeah.
very quickly
You're
you
gonna
had
get credit to
one
me for
DQ.
the wrong fucking year. Okay.
And
Go ahead.
very quickly you had one DQ, almost equal to or surpassing Jita on a consistent basis.
Never surpassed Jita, but we did surpass Amar a couple times.
I mean, it was like the Forge and then like Delve.
Right.
For a really long time. It was crazy.
And I love that. I don't give it's okay, Loki. So I like you because we hang out, we talk all the time. But everybody else in this game could have done the same thing. They chose not to, and they'd have more Titans than us if they had, but they didn't. And so now it takes 3/4 of the game to try and equal our Titan fleet, which is hilarious.
So Dawn, why didn't they do that? Do you have an answer?
Because they didn't want to.
Other people have different play styles, you guys.
Yeah, and
exactly. And that was
fucking play style of 2021.
So you had you had Northern Coalition, and at this point, you also had Pandemic Legion, who were very large groups. Okay, and neither one of them really wanted to commit to a
Industrial
crab first industrial mentality because they were nomadic PvP groups with a lot of super capitals, and they had high SP players, right, who could do things. So, but then interestingly, and this is kind of the fuckery, is that not only did you get Delve at its best with all the crabbing, but you also got purchasable SP. And
Yeah,
that was a fucking problem. You had
That definitely
a
helped.
Rorqual that could literally just print ISK, and you had the ability to then buy skill points in the same little bundle because we want to build our dreams. We want to build what, Cities in the Sky or some shit.
Well,
Like that
so
was
to be
the seagull
fair,
thing.
the big thing with it was not only that Rorquals printed ISK, but Rorquals printed minerals that would then get turned into Titans. The ISK that was generated from the minerals and said Titans then went into making more Titans
Right.
and more characters with the skill points to fly those Titans. So
That
this
was the
whole
problem.
like
That was the problem. That was the problem
uh-huh.
because I fought Goonswarm in Providence, right, as a
So
noob, and then
in
2
in
years
like a
later, I'm in
roundabout
NC dot.
way, in like a roundabout way, you're saying that Goonswarm is the reason that EVE Online needed scarcity.
Absolutely. No, they
Well,
are
no,
the reason.
regardless of who it was, right? Whether it was Goons or some other group, like we would always run into this problem at some point. Like you guys remember how rampant skill farming was? That it was more benefit. Like you could literally make money by like subbing characters, not like subbing with dollars, like subbing with Plex, and then you just endlessly made money by extracting the XP, selling them on the market, and then using that market is to then buy more Plex, to then sub your characters to get more SP to buy extractors, etc. Like it just became like this endless vicious cycle with skill farming, with the minerals and the rorquals. And
skill farming.
Oh, and
what?
it scaled. It was insane. It was fucking insane.
Now skill farming, you kind of lose money, but like it's still rampant. Go on, Tom.
I will say, when I say everybody could have done it too, that's okay if you didn't do it. I don't like doing most of the stuff in this game. I don't want to
Dawn.
live in Poshvin. I don't want to do fucking low sec and hunting, whatever it is, right? But everyone finds the way they like it. It's just that our playstyle made a lot of money.
Don. What the entire point though, right, is like nobody here is saying that the goons didn't do it properly or doing it.
Shut
I
up.
mean, if you think that the goons were somehow a failure
Wait
in
for
this entire
this.
process,
Are you ready
you're a
for
fucking
this
idiot.
shit? Are
No,
you ready
can I
for this
just
shit?
please
Yep,
say what I was going to
but
say?
I'm next.
Okay. Redline is
Hi,
next.
Dom.
Okay. So again, I pointed out that I FC'd against Goonswarm Federation when they came to Providence with the new Fozzie changes. That was a long time ago. Okay. 2 years after that, I was in NC dot, and they owned our asses with Titans. So the funny thing about the Providence thing was like I would just destroy them all. Like their goons were garbage for a really long time. There's like some weird new player based like recruitment program, and none of them knew what the fuck they were doing. And like I would take a bunch of Serbs and kill a bunch of Tengus, like a fuckload of Tengus. It was easy. I'd have like 400, 500, 600, 700, 800 kills a fucking week. It was amazing. And then all of a sudden, 2 years after this, they have Titans and they're owning our asses in X47. So the Goonswarm Federation obviously did something right. They're the ones who discovered, as Elise Randolph would point out, the quote unquote secret sauce to the empire building mechanics that were neat. The other groups did not necessarily want to participate in that right off the bat. They eventually learned that they had to, and now we see a giant proliferation of.
And here's
things
where
happening.
my point comes in, is that you say that anybody else could have done that, but I, being a part of I don't want to say command structure because that makes it sound a lot more important than it was, but being a part of the group of people that perpetuated Goonswarm's like their wants and their hopes and dreams across the galaxy, I can tell you firsthand that one of the primary objectives of fleets that I led was to hurt the economic structure of other groups. And any time that a group decided that they would jump into Rorqual mining or try to do the same empire building thing that Goons did, the first action was to deploy a SIG against them to pull their legs out from under them, and then bring the Alliance in later to completely destroy them. A la the war that we're talking about, X47. That's literally what that was.
So one time.
What?
So one time.
No, twice. And then Tribute in
Okay,
Vale
so
was
2
the
times
same
out of
thing.
5 years.
2 times out of 5 years
How
to completely
egregious!
wipe.
How egregious!
I mean, to completely wipe out the holdings of an entire collection of alliances.
Wait. I
It's
thought
kind
that
of a
you
thing
guys
that you're
picked
not
up
gonna
and left.
do.
Didn't you pick up everything and left?
Are
and
you
just
talking
left
about?
the
Are you
scrap
talking about?
for us?
Are you talking about Tribute, Don?
Yeah, because like I know we blew up a lot of stuff, but I also remember you guys just like after a certain point were like, and just
Don,
like picked
so
up stuff
Don,
and like left.
Don, you know that I love you, okay? But I'm going to say this: the way that Goon Swarm swung their dicks around the galaxy for multiple years, once they became big and strong, after X47, and that was really the determining factor as to we're just bigger than everybody else. That was really like the time they went around and they started like evicting people from fucking space.
Where?
So
Where?
right, so
Where?
that
Where? Give
so
me examples because we did two.
Pure
We had
blend.
tribute.
Tribute.
Tribute was just NC. So tribute, right?
And
That's
PL.
one location.
That wasn't
NC and PL, sure.
Horde moved
And
to.
and Horde moved too.
And
No,
if
Horde
your
moved
FCs
Horde
and if
moved
your FCs
before
weren't getting
everyone did.
tired and exhausted,
and
you
that
would have
created-
continued to move into
Horde
Geminate
moved.
and
That
followed them
solidified.
around.
That's solidified
say
Pan
that.
Fam.
Horde had already gone to Geminate and we're already established in Geminate.
Right. But they were not. But politically, no, Don, one sec. Politically, they were not part of Pan Fam necessarily. In fact, in the wars, in the no, but in the war with where NC supported Darkness before X47, okay, Pandemic Horde were actually on the opposite side of that, actually helping Elo fuck with Pan Fam. Okay, so eventually that whole thing solidified a triage, or sorry, how do you say that? A trinity of fucking Northern Coalition, Pandemic Legion, and Pandemic Horde, and they moved, and that's what happened. So you kind of fucked yourself that way because eventually Test was able to say, oh well, yeah, we don't really need the goons anymore. In fact, we like you guys. Then they went to Tenal, and then after that, they said, hey, we're still friends, and we have a bunch of super caps. We can probably fuck with the goons, and that's what happened. But after you guys kicked out a bunch of dudes from the space, you guys pissed off a lot of fucking people.
We didn't kick anybody. We kicked NC out of Tribute. They had already left.
Pandemic Legion and Horde. Thank you.
You're right. You're right. Okay, NC.
No, I'm right. I was literally fucking there.
I see you guys as more nomadic, but so NC was the bigger presence. But sure, NCPL left Tribute.
Well,
did
NC was not necessarily at that point the bigger. I mean,
whatever. So the only other wars that I was a part of the past 3 or 4 years was that we went up to Hakonin to fight everybody, and that was just fun, right? Pew, pew, pew. We didn't bring our Super Titans. So the next time we brought up our Super Titans to fight GOTG. Did we kick them out of their space? No. Did they decide to go ahead and offer tribute to make us go away? Yes, they did. And we left them to have their fun, and we left back down to Delve, happy-go-lucky that we have gotten our blood price, and we're perfectly happy. Did we kick them out of the space? No, wait. Who kicked them out of their space?
I don't remember.
So
wait, who kicked them out of their space?
That
was
CSM
was
deal.
that Test and NC and PL that kicked
It
Test
was-
out of
it was-
GOTG out of their space?
They're so fucked up version of history. Like, holy fuck.
No, that's exactly like.
Yeah, I remember Asher being fucking pissed that the CSM went and negotiated shit with Sword Dragon. Be like, oh, we are so happy-go-lucky. No, people were pissed that they couldn't shoot GOTG. And then years later, Black Legion and Horde went up to fight GOTG again, and that's when the Horde NC shit happened. And then
Horde and NC actually kicked out GOTG.
Oh, they didn't.
We left them.
They fought and then stopped. And then later, after PanFam moved to drones, they went back up and kicked out GOTG. That was literally a fucking year ago, back in February.
They moved to drones because Goon Swarm kicked them out of Tribute, right? The glassing, the glassing of tribute, and people don't like being glassed. People do not like being glassed. So immediately we said, you know what? All right, cool. It's time to deal with Sword Dragon. So we went and dealt with Sword Dragon, and he was the best time zone tanker in the game, but could not deal with the shit that we brought. So fuck him, and his entire fucking group fucking died. Awesome.
They died due to NCPL, P Horde, and company's pressure.
Test plus fraternity. Honestly,
I thought
the change
that this
actually
whole
came with
time.
fraternity.
Hey, Loki, time out for a second. I thought that this whole time, Don, it was you guys that had killed GOTG.
No,
because every time somebody talks about how NC and PL did it, you guys seem to bring up the fact that you did it first. Is that? Are we retconning that now? We're retconning
we bent
that
them
now?
to our will and made them give up, and that's great. But we never made them move, and then we left and let them rebuild because whatever, we got our blood price and we're happy with
Oh,
that.
sure. Yeah, you let them rebuild. So what you're telling me is that when people went up to go farm GOTG in their space, anytime that there were Rorquals out mining or anything like that that anybody in Goons got word of, anytime an FC pinged a fleet to go fight GOTG
I don't feel
and
like
kill the
that's
Rorquals,
special of dropping on
it
anybody's
wasn't.
circles. We did
I'm
every
sorry. Can I finish my point before you talk? So having that considered a strategic operation, like that wasn't a contributing factor to the fact that GOTG literally couldn't rebuild because Goons wouldn't let them?
You're trying to say that us hunting Rorquals everywhere in the game and that GOTG just happened to also be in the game too was bad?
No. What I'm trying to say is that literally making it a strategic objective to pull out the economic backbone of any group that you'd considered to not be an ally is counterproductive to you saying anybody in the game could do what we do. No, they couldn't because you wouldn't let them.
Hold on. How many Rorquals did we lose a week, and how many supers did we lose a week from one person and Bomber's Bar? I feel like we were losing Titans, or sorry, not Titans, because we lost one Titan in 3 years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We
Yes, you lost
supers,
5 billion Rorquals while everybody else lost all of the
10.
structures in their space.
So we lost a bunch of Rorquals typically every month. We lost a bunch of supers every month. It was just a price it cost to doing business in Dell.
And it
So
didn't cost
if
the
we could
Alliance
do
a
it,
goddamn thing, did it?
and yet if we could do it, and why couldn't?
But it didn't cost the Alliance anything, did it?
So why does it cost you guys anything? I mean, you lose one Rorqual, you should have a couple more lined up to be able to just take its place and mine some more.
I'm not talking about Rorquals.
If they were
I'm talking.
organized and had a super fleet that could handle like the shitlers that show up, I mean,
I
it's
am
not that
talking
hard to make
about
fleets
losing the infrastructure that you used to make money in your space.
So we
That's
killed
what I'm
a couple
talking about.
keep stars, but we didn't kill all their keep stars. They still had a plenty to work with.
Oh, why didn't you kill those? You got paid off? Is that what it was?
They paid us with 40 faction 4 stars and we went home.
Fun facts, we were leaving anyways.
I know, right? They didn't. They paid us when they didn't even have to, which is the best part. So it's like we left. We're like, all right, we're good. But they still had keep stars. They still had infrastructure. And if I recall, nobody tried to invade them in the next few months. So they had space, like invade. They, of course, everybody got attacked the same amount as everybody else by Bomber's Bar, by people going through wormholes, whether it be NC people or Hard Knocks or Laser Hawks or whatever. Everybody's getting attacked if the wormholes gods speak, and it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next fight that we had, the next war that we did, wasn't against GOTG. Our next war was against NCPL, kicked them out because they hurt us during the casino war, so we got our pound of flesh.
To be
left.
clear, the war that you're talking about versus GOTG wasn't really against GOTG. It was against CO2 and that ilk, which is what resulted in that alliance being killed, actually.
Well, that happened before that war.
No, it
CO2
didn't.
got judged, and then it died.
So here's
got judged, and then
here's
they
the thing,
died,
though, Don,
and then
is
came
that
back a couple months later under Miss Gigex.
Right.
And then we went up to
So they didn't get killed. Like when that war in Pureblind and all that area happened, the result was the destruction of that alliance. That's what the goal
die.
was. Yes, they did. They're a
No, they didn't.
corporation.
They
They're a
blew up the buildings.
corporation
They
now.
could have just moved
Oh,
and
they
waited it
could've.
out like everybody else does, but they decided to just
Sure.
call it quits because they didn't
Okay.
have a cult personality to follow. You guys got
Gotcha.
banned like 8 times.
Okay.
What
So,
happens
okay,
if
so now we got
Yutani gets
GOTG and we got CO2, which CO2 mostly was by Judge, who was internal that fucked them all over. So now who else? So we got GOTG. Sure, we'll add CO2 in, and we got NCPL moving. They didn't even get hurt that bad. They just moved, right? Who else have we attacked in the past 5 years
Shit, it
of
doesn't
any
cost anything
significance?
to move your entire alliance 2 regions over. That's
That
chump
is
change, right?
the nip
Okay,
with
so
legacy,
can I just say
right?
something?
It depends. Is it gonna be relevant?
It is relevant, I suppose, yeah.
Okay, as long as it's relevant.
So what is interesting is that you're asking who did we hurt? I mean, I was an FC in probably Block at a time where Goonsword Federation thought it'd be really funny to fuck with all the Sov and probably Block and have some giant fucking invasion thing going on.
When was this? Was this in like 2016 or 17? Because
I mean, whatever the fuck Fozzie Sov kicked off.
it had to be like
I have
that
no
because
idea
I
when
wasn't
that.
in Goonswarm until May, so I can't May of
Well,
2017.
Well,
So I
there you
can't
go.
answer
So
anything before
I
that.
have no
Like
idea
10
when that.
years ago, I think.
There you go.
20 years ago.
So who did we hurt? Well, you really pissed me off, and I killed a bunch of goons, and it was a lot of fun. So then I moved to
You
a group where I would
promised me.
get
You promised me this
continue.
would be relevant.
It is. She asked who did we hurt?
You promised,
I was
Loki.
pointing out
My
legacy.
entire point was goons piss off a lot of fucking people, and now guess what? It's time to fucking own up to the fact that guess what? You pissed off a lot of people. So now a lot of people are pissed off. Dawn. There you
So
go.
Don, if you look at your list, the people you didn't attack was like Legacy, such as Test and Brave, and guess what? They had a non-invasion pact with you. So congrats.
Legacy were goons from the very like.
See, because PGL has a fucking hard on for Mittens, and he can't admit it.
I mean,
Wonder why.
Better to be
I don't
pissed
know
off than pissed on.
I don't know if you've seen the history of PGL and Imperium, but yeah, it's not fucking surprising at all.
The things that PGL is a hard on for, I don't really meddle myself with at night. You know what I mean? It's just like it's whatever. I mean,
it's we
I
had
try
to
not to think about the things that PGL wants.
things apparently fell apart. I don't know. They decided they, I don't know what happened in that conversation. But if you want to say, oh, we went around and fucked everybody in the ass, no, we didn't. We literally had a couple skirmishes, and then other than that, most of us stayed home, ratting away, happy go lucky.
I mean,
You all
considering that I was a
fabricate
part of the
ideas
considering
that
that I
we
was
were
a part of the group
terror
that
across
was
New
doing that, I can tell you for a fact that that is indeed what was happening.
No, it wasn't, because you were part of Scare Bears, and guess what Scare Bears did? They went and hunted random little things in any space that they could find that was non-blue or and go kill it. You had no care on what you killed, just like most of the SIGs. Liberty Squad deployed to what? Fucking NCPL area to go have some fun up there. Reavers deployed up to GOTG area to have some fun up there. But you're talking about 30 to 60 people having some fun in Ishtars or whatever the fuck Liberty Squad used. It was never a full alliance deployment. The full alliance deployments are the ones I mentioned. Okay, you guys are fabricating these ideas that we oppressed you guys. We had fun with minimal content to try to just have good fights and have a good time. And yes, of course, we're going to try to break the economic backbone as much as possible of other groups, because they literally just had a war where the entire game ganged up on them. Why would you not want to try and cripple anybody trying to do that again? Like,
the non-invasion pact was the best in Legacy. And this is why we have World War B1, and then the same factors causing World War B2. Take notes from
even if we didn't do anything, you guys would have done it again.
Because Imperium doesn't seem to learn at all whatsoever.
So Dawn,
Shocker.
Dawn, again, I love you, okay, but you piss off a lot of people.
No, they were already pissed. We didn't
No. You've pissed off a lot of people for about 10 years, like consistently. Like since I've been playing the game, you've been pissing off everybody, and not giving a fuck. And then you got Mins on the meta show. You got minutes on the Meta Show telling you to eat a dick or quote unquote lick my ass for a record breaking number of times.
Lick
And
my dick and eat my
Eat my
ass.
ass.
What
Lick
it
my
is.
dick and eat my ass.
or
Yes.
eat my
Come
ass.
on.
Okay,
Come on,
whatever.
dude.
I mean,
Come on,
whatever.
man.
My ass war was
But
literally like Imperium leadership being like, "Wham!" Other groups bot, wham, and then like attacking other groups. Like it was the dumbest fucking shit.
Once again, I've pointed out the actual wars where we made significant impact, and the rest of it was all unbiased. Like, oh, we're just gonna find what we can find and kill what we can kill, and we didn't care who it was, other
Oh,
than
it
as long as
was
it was blue.
pretty
no,
biased.
No,
Yeah.
Redline, don't even act like you know, because I know you don't know.
you
What do you
fucked
mean
with
you
it.
know I don't know? How do you know that I don't know? Consider like I'm literally telling you from my own personal experience that I was told straight up that if we managed to go kill stuff in other regions of space that were particularly, I don't know, hostile is the word that you can use, we were actually encouraged to go to like PanFam space and go to different spaces, and they would consider that strategic, which meant that we got paid more for that, which
and
would tell me that that is a strategic objective of an
Let's
alliance.
let's be real
Correct
here.
or
Let's
incorrect?
be real here, because anything I do in
I am
Theta
being real here.
is also considered strategic. So
Well,
your
that's
basis
home
of strategic
defense.
is bullshit, and it doesn't matter.
Guess
No,
what?
my
You
basis of
fucked with them.
strategic is that it's an alliance objective to hurt the economies of other groups.
Of
And the
course.
entire point,
Why would no one do that?
Don, the entire point that I'm trying to make here is that when you say anybody in the game could have done it, that's bullshit. They couldn't because you were stopping them from doing it.
That's
That
not
is the point that I'm
true.
trying to make. It is
Don,
true. It is
Don, you guys
100%
fucked.
true.
You guys fucked
You
with
wanna-
enough
You
groups.
want to attribute the other groups' inability or unwillingness to get on board with the Empire and money-making options to Goon Swarm oppressing the rest of the game. Once again, I can point out to Black Ops was in the maybe Kavala Gemini Expanse, killing things occasionally, nowhere near the levels of a Mecha and Bomber's Bar, right? And then you got Reavers up at early 2018-19 over in GOTG space out of ROIR, because I did it myself personally, so don't say I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. Hitting GOTG, having fun. It's a group of maybe 60 people fighting Black Legion and GOTG. We didn't attack Rorquals, we fought people for fun, to just get some fun. Space Violence joined us as well. Same thing. Once we got more action going on, it was a good time. You tell me what SIG or Alliance was sent to specifically hit any fucking enemy and make sure in the same capacity as Omeka or Marshy or Bomber's Bar to economically hit them, because it never fucking happened. I don't want to fucking hear it. We got hit every fucking day on Rorquals and
infrastructure.
Titans.
Can I?
We didn't build another building. Show me a single building kill from prior to wars, other than the wars that we hit.
The
Don,
wars are what I'm talking about.
What
The SIGs
economic factors are we
deploying,
crushing?
the SIGs deploying was always the predecessor to the actual alliance going up there. That was the whole thing.
Of course, the SIGs go up to soften up and see what things are going on, see what's happening. And then when we find out that they're a rotting egg that we could kick over pretty easily, of course we go up. But guess what? How many times that happened? Twice.
Don, you
Maybe
approached.
3.
No, this is the problem. You approached everything like a rotten egg, and to be fair, from the Goonswarm perspective,
To be fair,
I think yes. To be fair, you had. Is that a fucking Canadian reference? Oh my god.
Yes, it's
Anyway, it
let
doesn't
it
matter.
me, dude.
It doesn't matter. You had entirely the right to go and fuck people over, I suppose, but you fucked over enough people, it turns out, and I don't have the numbers to support it, that they all wanted to ban against you and fuck you. And that's what's going on, and that's literally what's happening right now. And I love you, Don. I don't want to hurt you personally, but that's literally
Unless, of course, you
going on right now.
Unless, of course, you flip a station and fuck people over, because then that's okay. But don't take that as a one-off. Don't take that into account. Don.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Sorry, Randall. Well, guess what? When we fuck enough people, and honestly,
You're
I
getting
kind
there.
of, I'm of the opinion that we probably already have fucked a little too many people over, and his name might be Billy, and things might not end so well for content.
Billy already left. You don't have to be nice to him.
No, I'm not being nice. I'm being very honest. Like this is like when you fuck this much with a bunch of different people, but they all kind of happen to be Villy's like dudes. Uh, shit might not go so well for you eventually, provided that tests survive in the long term. That's like a whole other fucking
That's
question,
really cute.
right?
You think Test is gonna survive in the long run?
Well, I mean,
really, they can't do
You
anything
think that
as an
1DQ is gonna
anyway,
be fucking?
my entire point is Goonswarm Federation fucked with enough people, and it doesn't matter like whose alliance it was. There are enough people, like actual physical human beings, from one group to another that eventually had to amalgamate into another group to fucking hate you and to say, guess what? We're going to recruit everyone that we can in the game to come and fuck you. And that's what you're experiencing right now. So it is literally because of your success that you're experiencing this sorrow. Okay, it's not a bad thing. It's an expression of proliferation in the game to its highest extent, and that's what's happening.
As I said, no matter what, we win. It's either A, we win and kick your asses, or B, it took everybody in the game to beat us. So, whatever.
Listen,
And if we lose, we're still winning. Is like the dumbest hot take, dude.
I'm just saying, like,
But when you're a single alliance against Goonswarm and all of its allies, which was extensive, then it's literally you against the entire game. So now you understand what it's like to have been in those positions, because I've been in that position multiple, like 3 or 4 times at this point in my EVE career, which is fine because you guys did it right, and that is true. And guess what? Now things are not so good for you,
well,
and that's part of the game. It's part of the game.
EVE is turning into a new era where different things are going to be the way to do the game. It's not going to be necessarily scaling up or scaling out per se. Who knows? But until Rattata or whatever figures out or finishes his vision of the EVE economy, it's hard to say what's going to be the best option, anyways. So.
And if you guys are able to stay together, and if I have full fucking confidence that your people will probably game it better. But I think that now the rest of the EVE community is listening, and I think that that's a major kind of turning point in EVE Online, because I think before this, everyone was kind of focused on their own gameplays because all of their own gameplays were valid. What we've understood from recent history, i.e., Goonswarm Federation exploding not just once but twice, is that you need to fucking listen to what's actually happening and fuck your gameplay. And if you need to lose members to switch over your gameplay to something new, you're going to lose members because it's more important in the long run. Okay, but that is not what happened. And to be fair, like I was in NC Dot
Loki
at a point where
Loki.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Uh,
That's what I mean when I say you talk too much. Like I have no idea what you're saying.
Okay, so
You're not
Northern
even talking about
Coalition's
the topic that
inability
we're
to
talking
actually
about.
No, I literally am though. Like, so Goonswarm Federation adapted to a certain kind of gameplay that made them extremely dangerous. Northern Coalition was focused on having super caps and being really good veteran players with super caps. And guess what? They got fucked in the ass like multiple times because they're fucking retarded and they were actually thought about. Like,
yeah, let's pick words, dude. Like I have no idea what the fuck you're on about.
Okay, so
So
Northern
anyways,
Coalition never adapted
the
to
topic that
empire
we're
building
talking about right now,
strategies
talking
in EVE
louder
Online.
isn't going to make me stop talking, just so that we're on the same page. The topic that we are talking about right now is the fact that Don is saying that anybody in the game could have done what Goons did, when in fact they could not. That has nothing to do with the fact that there's a war going on.
Why could they have not? Why could they have
If
not?
you were going to sit there, if you're going to sit there and ask why could they not, I have said this a dozen times in the last 20 minutes. Like, are you even listening to what we're saying, or just waiting for
Redline,
your
were
turn
you
to
in-
talk?
No, like please elaborate. I want.
I'm not going to elaborate. I've said it a dozen times already.
Okay, so
Lily pointed out how he led fleets to target other people's economy shit, right? Like go kill other people's work so they can't mine. Like it's so fucking simple. Like pay attention. It's also like
yeah,
way
but
overdue, so I'm probably
so a fucking alliance's ability to defend itself is like no longer valid because Goonstorm Federation is somehow killing our works. Like, come on, dude. Because Vince Draken never really thought that he should change from being a nomadic super carrier fucking PvP alliance to being like an empire building alliance. That was the main reason. And PL is in the same boat. And Pandemic Legion was just coming up, so they really had no fucking
and when they did realize that empire
was,
building and
like,
industry was
many
the way to
years too late.
go, they got their regions glassed.
Well, yeah, but why? Yeah, but they were like 3 or 4 years too fucking late for that, dude. Because
That's
Goonstorm
fine.
Federation had already been destroyed in the Casino War or the
But that
fucking
is
World
what
War
I am
B
saying,
one, right?
is that whenever an alliance got
Well, then
close
when I
enough
talk
to be
about
able
that,
to
why do
do
you
it,
tell me that I'm off on some tangent? That was
because you're
literally what I was
not
alluding
listening to the conversation that
Literally,
we are having. You're
Fields
talking.
didn't happen until after Citadels. Like, get that through your mind. It is not 10 years. It's literally since 2016 that was Farms and Fields. Pay attention. Your guys' versions of history are so super fucked. Like, pay attention. You cannot do Farms and Fields before then because all that shit before allowed folks like Pandemic Legion and Black Legion and all these other groups to be nomadic. That was when renting was the best doing money.
Rain. I don't even understand what you're trying to say because
You're like, oh, they're like decades late. Like, no, they're not, dude. Like, they were literally living in tribute and holding Sov, and guess what? They got their shit glass. That's when they moved to land.
because
Now they're still empire building.
when y'all discovered to fucking open your eyes, I was already like, yo, we need to fucking do something, and nobody gave a fuck because like NC.dot ended up being like 2 years too late to that fucking party, and then things went really bad for them, right? They glass tribute because in X47 we realized, oh, Goonswarm A have a fuckload of people, B have a fuckload of ISK, and C have a bunch of SP now that they can just buy to skill into Titans that they've already produced based on the minerals to fuck us. I don't understand what you mean, like, pay attention. I was there the entire time. Like, I've been here.
We talked about this like 30 fucking minutes ago. That's what I mean by pay attention. You're
Why are we
repeating
yelling?
shit we've already talked about, so thanks.
I'm
Good
fairly
job,
certain.
good job.
So,
all right.
How you
Anyway,
doing, Redline?
I'm probably good now. So thank you very much for whatever. That was awesome. I'm gonna go do something else. Have fun, guys.
I think we should all probably go do something else. We've been at
We
this
are
for
literally
almost 4
I've been half
hours.
of the show.
I've been having
And it was the same
trash
fucking
talking.
shit for the last 2 hours. I should have just like stayed in bed and napped because like holy fuck, dude.
I like the show a lot better when I'm the idiot.
Great time. I know what you guys talk about.
Yeah, Dom, you're just saying the dumbest fucking shit because you're drowning in Kool-Aid and can't think past your own two brain cells.
I'm sorry that I
like,
go
oh my
with
god, guys, everyone hates goons. Yeah, get with the fucking program. You're a decade
fine.
late.
You guys can hate goons all you want, but I have history correct. I know what happened in my life.
No. Next, you're gonna tell me the drifters caused you to leave tribute.
That definitely didn't help.
Yeah, but that's not why you left.
Yeah, we were bored because you guys left because there was nothing else.
Goons are trash at fucking structure grinding compared to Pandemic Horde.
Not gonna lie, this is fucking hilarious to listen to.
I believe that we destroyed like most structures when you mean just like you
and it burned you out so much you couldn't continue to fight Pandemic Horde. That's the fucking point. You had to go home, and then you're like, oh my god, let's see why I claim by.
I don't believe that anybody was there fighting on any of the fucking structures that we were actually.
No one's out here fighting on the structures either in Delve either, but we all just want to sit and talk about the world all day, don't we? Could you all just like fucking grow some like IQ or like go outside for once and realize the world doesn't revolve around you and that your like foresight and perspective on things isn't always right, and sometimes it's super fucked up. And a lot of folks sitting here having to listen to it is really fucking obnoxious.
They can have some opinions and actually jump in.
I have to correct you guys all the fucking time. Both you and Loki as you're screaming over each other and won't let me jump in.
Anyways, the point is done. Is that what I'm saying is factually correct? Like, there's any uprising that was economic was met with just a region getting glassed or war being declared, and that's all there is to it. So the next thing that we're gonna do is probably just gonna call it a night because it's been almost 4 hours. So does anybody have any final thoughts for us before we do that?
I love you, Redline.
Happy 420.
Yeah,
Not
happy
420
420
anymore.
gets
It's
super high for me.
421 now.
Oh
That's
no.
true.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
So my final thought is even more superficially, like people just don't like the way the goons play the game. And the way that they had to defend Delve when there still was Fortress Delve. Bosoning gates and doing all kinds of shit, and it didn't end up working, but it was still really frustrating to deal with. That was the kind of shit that even like that's what Darwinism cited as a reason of why they would wage eternal war on Delve. Just like a lot of shit
Okay,
like that.
so they're mad at 4 people. Okay.
Shit, dude, that's the reason I joined Goon Swarm was
Because
when
let me
we
tell you,
had
the amount of people that actually did that was
Titans
I
dropped on
can
a
count on my
Pandemic
hand.
Horde fleet.
I know every single one of them that did it by heart. I know them as personal friends, and it was 4 to 5 people on average doing it. So
On
if they want to
every
be mad at,
gate? Jesus.
yes, I do. It was Kumi, Genel, Raikiri, Tyler Shang, and maybe Bill.
Don't
Other
forget John
than that,
Hartley.
no, John did not do boson traps. He would
Yes,
join
he
in
did.
on smart bombing traps on bombers bar fleets, but he did not sit there and do boson traps unless Kumi organized it. If you want to talk about the people that actually organized it, those are the 5 people. So you want to be mad at them? That's fine. The rest of Delve did not do boson hunting or boson traps. It was those 5 people. So when people want to bitch about it, they can suck my dick because it was literally 5 people. The rest of y'all could have done it too.
Well, and now you're paying for it.
That's
Dearly.
fine. Whatever.
Boom.
I'll
There
go
it
to
is.
NPC Delve and to fuck test the ass all day. That's
With what?
fine.
With what?
With my
With
Black
what?
Ops ships because they can't seem to handle that. They're not in Delve at all beyond Ventures and maybe a Procure because they cannot handle us
Oh yeah?
dropping.
Well, what are you guys using to make money in Delve?
Oh, we don't make money in Delve. We make money in other places, which we've been doing for almost a year now.
You
because
think they're not making money other places?
Of course they are. But they're also, trying to be in period basis. We jump down there too. It's just funny. Once again, the tests act like they can live in Delve, and they can't.
Now wait, you say you're making money in other places. Does that include like sucking cock or something? Because like,
All right.
listen,
So
that's a
now we are
legit thing.
bridging
Oh no.
into territory that is better suited on a different show.
I do
because
enjoy a nice big dick.
I mean, listen, I ain't judging. You do you, boo.
All right.
shaming it down.
Anyways, we're gonna end the stream here because we're not gonna. That's Mal. Jesus Christ.
What?
Jesus Christ, Mal.
She
jeez.
started it.
Listen, I'm fighting the fucking melatonins.
Ah, God. Anyways, I'm gonna do credits. They're probably gonna work. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
I hope not.
Dom hopes not. We're gonna play some music too. We'll see if that
If credits
works.
don't work, I'm gonna get even more high. I think it's a fair thing, right?
What?
I think I'm gonna take the opportunity to get more high.
Sounds good, dude. All right. So we're gonna do this. Let's see if it works.